Welcome to the 227th episode of the So Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we'll be talking about it. Today we are recording on April 7th, 2021. My name is Brad Galloway. I am the editor of GameCritics.com, and 50% of this here show with me is the man who's all set to mine some crypto, Carlos Rodella.
I think I gave up on that.
Well, you got a new rig.
Oh, my computer's better. I get what you're saying. Yes.
Brand new computer in your house.
Yeah, it's a new all-in-one PC. I'm very excited about it, and it's quiet. So if you've listened to an episode in the past of this podcast that you heard a fan noise, that is no longer.
I mean, are we talking applause, cheers? Because I like that kind of fan noise.
Yeah, I could actually add that in post. By the way, have you noticed that I did that for the last few episodes?
I have only listened to a couple as I was driving around. I did notice you inserted that into one episode that I heard, and I thought that was funny.
It is, I think, the last four, actually. I had the soundbite there, and then I was like, it was already like in the, settings of the sequence. So I was like, I'll just keep it there.
Why not?
So it might have happened just now in this episode.
Who knows?
But yes, I do have a new PC. It's amazing. It's called the HP Envy. It charges my phone when I put my phone on it, on the base of it, which is incredible. The whole thing is super quiet. It's got a 4K screen. It's ridiculous. I got it because I edit so much video, and I'm very excited.
Nice. Now Carlos got HPV. Sounds good.
Oh, jeez. I'm editing that. I normally don't edit episodes. I'm going to edit that.
You got to put the applause in. That's what you got to do.
Thanks. Okay, I will.
All right, folks. We are back with a brand new episode. Welcome. We're glad you're here. As per usual, we're going to kick things off with a little bit of housekeeping. I've only got one thing on my side of the house today, and I'm gonna go into it just really quick. Recently, Godzilla vs. Kong, the movie came out. I mean, by this point, maybe a week or two ago. I can't remember exactly, but recently. That was a movie I was very excited about. Watched it the day after it came out. Carlos, you've seen it too.
I have.
We are going to talk about this real briefly at the end of the show. I'm going to go into it. I don't want to spoil anything here. If you're a person who has not yet seen it, I hate spoilers. I would not willingly spoil anybody else if I could help it. So just FYI, at the end of the show, we will talk about Godzilla vs. Kong, and there will be spoilers. But for now, just know that I watched it. Carlos watched it. Really quick, you want to give a thumbs up, thumbs down? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think?
Oh, really? We're going to go do that right now? And not
just for right now, just to give people a taste. And we'll get into it at the end.
I have a pretty solid thumbs down on this one.
I am also a pretty solid thumbs down as well. So
Ooh.
I think we can commiserate about that. But we're not going to get into any details right now. That's all I've got in terms of housekeeping, Carlos. You got anything on your side of the house today?
My side of the house has a few things. First off, E3 is back, and it's going to be free, but also virtual.
A wise choice.
Yeah, and it makes sense, but is also pretty cool because remember last year we had the Summer Game Fest with Jeff Keighley and a bunch of trailers and announcements, and it was basically something to keep our minds busy because we were all going crazy.
Yeah.
So it's another same type of thing. I mean, like more people are getting vaccinated, more people are getting out there and being safe, but at the same time, a lot of people are basically still home, and we want something to do, and we also don't and can't go to a huge conference. So this is another way for them to do it. And I think it's basically just going to be like similar to the summer thing where there's a ton of trailers, there's a ton of announcements, and that's exciting. We can still all have that from the safety of our home.
I think that's great. Because basically that's all E3 is anyway. I mean, ton of announcements, a ton of trailers. If you actually go, I mean, I've been a couple times. I'm sure you've probably been a couple times, right?
I've been a lot of times.
You've been many times.
Too many. Notice how my voice changed? Yeah.
Too many times. I mean, the only other bonus, if you ever go to E3, is getting to play like a 5-minute demo, 3 months before other people get to. I mean, honestly, I think most people who watch these shows are getting like 85% of the exact same experience. And in some ways it's better because you're not bumping up against people. You're not smelling their sweat. You're not eating shitty tacos at the cafeteria because it's too far to walk to a good restaurant. You're not spending $1,000 on a hotel room. Honestly, I think going virtual is kind of a good move.
Well, I hope they do some announcement type shows. They can do them like in an empty theater, but like some of the bigger studios.
Oh yeah.
that's part of E3 as well, like them coming out and saying an announcement. Because if it's just trailers, then it is a little different. And so I hope that they're going to do some of that stuff. I know Devolver always does that because they
Oh yeah,
always
Devolver has an insane show every single
crazy
year.
show, and they like
Mental,
pre-tape
yes.
it a long time before. But the other tangent I'll quickly go on is that I've been part of the press for a long time, not really in the same way anymore, but in the past, and I've been to, I don't know, 7 of them or something, a ton of E3s, and there is something that I do miss about, meeting your friends, meeting colleagues, meeting
Sure.
developers and publishers that and just that kind of camaraderie is definitely something I miss. So that's the thing I do miss from shows, because there's so many people that the only time I saw them was at a big show. They're all across the country, et cetera. So yeah, that's the only thing I miss.
It's interesting. I would agree with you for sure, but I think that shows have definitely changed over the years. Because like I mean, I think you've probably been to more shows than I have in terms of E3. But like, even back when I was still going, like it was still quote unquote like press only, right? And like it was, it wasn't impossible for people who were not pressed to get in, but like it wasn't like flooded with people who were not pressed. And so at that time, the floors weren't crazy crowded. Like you could actually have a conversation with people. There'd be like meeting rooms, and like it was kind of like there's more chance to meet people. But now. I mean, the last time I went, it was like madness. There was so many people that were not pressed. It was just like wall to wall people, impossible to hear anything, impossible to meet anybody. You had to like, go offsite if you wanted to chill with somebody. And it was just really, really tough. And I mean, it's kind of the same thing at like a PAX or something like that. PAX West is a show that I really love, but also it's like, it's so crowded. Like it's impossible to do anything there except for just stand in the middle of an ocean of people, which, by the way, I'm never doing again. So.
I know we're like, it's a different kind of world.
Different world, man. Different world.
I will say this though: most of the time, I was at those shows. I've been at earlier shows when it was less crowded, when they didn't let the general public in. But at the same time, the last time I went, which was a couple years ago, or maybe I guess 3 now, we just met people off site. You meet them at a show, or there's a lot of different like after parties. So there's a lot of places to meet people. It's just that they all happen to be in the same city, and that's pretty
totally
cool.
Yeah. Good point.
But either way, if you want to take part in it, you can sign up. I don't really know what that does. Both you and I have signed up. I'm not sure what that's actually going to do for us. But
I mean, probably nothing. Just get us a bunch of emails.
Yeah, probably. Actually, that's all it's going to do. But yeah, at some point they'll have the information. It'll probably just be like, places to stream it and watch all the trailers. But I'm still excited. It's pretty soon. It's June, and it's a lot of new game stuff for us to look at.
Excellent.
The other thing, real quick, is Apple Arcade had a Final Fantasy game come out. I don't have an iPhone, but I heard about this.
We did sign up for Apple Arcade a while ago, and I just honestly just got really kind of bored of it. Like, there was a couple good games, but not many, and I had so many other games to play. It didn't really seem to make a lot of sense for me to keep paying for it when most of that stuff wasn't great, honestly. It's I know the one you're talking about, and honestly, I do not recall what it's called, but it's from some of the old school Final Fantasy people, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called Fantasian.
Okay, yes.
And it looks like little miniatures, and it just looks really cool. So if you have Apple Arcade or an iPhone, I guess it's the both, either one. Or like, Apple Arcade on your TV or whatever. You could check it out if you like Final Fantasy. I just heard about that.
There you go. I bet it'll come to other platforms, though, I'm sure. There's a bunch of people who are not on Apple Arcade. I'm guessing we'll see it at some point.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Just a couple more things. One, that Gensu Skydrift game that I talked about, and I said I will definitely try to reassign the buttons.
Yeah, the girls who were surfing on top of other girls in the sky. Yes. We talked about that last episode.
Well, you can't remap the buttons.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, but by me going back in and checking it out, I did play for a while, and I was like, this is pretty fun, though. There's some fun to be had here, let's just say
it is. You were kind of down on it last episode, though.
I know. There's some fun. I mean, there's a little bit of... I'm a sucker for like a Mario Kart type game, so it's a little bit fun, but it's just too difficult with the 2 buttons. You basically are just like rocking your thumb back on the 2 buttons, and it's just annoying.
Kind of a plot twist there, folks. This is like a Carlos turnaround. Kind of surprise.
Dun, dun. I don't know if it is, because I think I still deleted it from my fucking PlayStation.
But you did have some fun.
I had some fun.
Okay. All
okay.
Right.
And the other 2 things are related. One, thanks to everybody who checked out our live episode. We really enjoyed doing it. We'll do another one hopefully in a few weeks. And we'll pick a time. Why don't you send us an email or at Videogames or just at one of us on Twitter what time zone you're in and which time you'd like for us to try it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we can do that. And then secondly, there's 2 YouTube channels, and I apologize, that are So Video Games podcast. And I had created one long time ago with some other random email, and I can't delete it. So the one that has our episode 226, that's our YouTube channel.
Branding disaster.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I will find that password and I will delete the old one. But for now, go to the one that, if you see the So Video Games podcast, just YouTube search that, and you'll see the episode 226. Subscribe to that one. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And so let me ask you then. I see that I'm not looking at it now, but I saw earlier that our live episode was up there. Are we planning to upload our other episodes there, or is that just going to be the house for only the live episodes?
Yeah, we'll do live for now, and then we'll see. I feel like it's just a lot of work to redo or not redo, but at the same time I'm editing one episode.
Oh, sure.
To kind of add the video.
I getcha.
But the live, it's so easy because on YouTube, you just do it live, and then all of a sudden it's just recorded.
Then boom, you're done. Yep.
Yeah, I think we'll keep them for live for now, and then we'll see how people like them. And also, last thing on the video clips, audio clips, I'm making some more clips with this software Headliner, and Brad was very wise to point out the captions, and I worked with the program to figure out how I can edit them because it auto-generates them for me. But I'm actually able to fully customize them now, but not have to input the whole thing. So I'm able to touch them up, and I did that for the last clip, if you saw that on our Twitter. Yep. And I'll be trying to do more of those clips in the future for each episode.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So you used Headliner for that, and after our discussion, so just to give a little bit of backstory here, folks. So Game Critics, in case you have never been to Game Critics, I suppose it's very possible that some people listen to the podcast but have never been to Game Critics. If you have never been, please come over, give us a once over. Maybe you like what you see. But we spend a lot of time talking about accessibility. And now we are not specifically an accessibility in game site by any means. We are just a straight up review site. But we do spend a lot of time on detailing whether or not controls are remappable for those players who like remappable controls for whatever reason. We also spend a lot of time on whether games are accessible if you are deaf or hard of hearing, because a lot of games do have audio cues, and if you cannot hear those, it makes the game harder to play or sometimes impossible to play. So if you come over to Game Critics, you'll see that accessibility information, and I'm very proud to say that we were one of the leaders on the internet in getting that stuff up. I think other sites have come along since then, probably. Can I Play That, I think, is a really good one. They do a lot of more in-depth audio examination than we do, but I am proud to say that we do take the time and effort to give that information for everybody. And I bring that up because, as you know, as you're listening right now, podcast is audio, and we did have some readers of Game Critics who were deaf, meaning they could not hear, ask and say, hey, Brad, we would love to read your podcast. Can we get a transcript? And at that time, I'm like, I would love to do that, but Game Critics is all volunteer. Here at So Video Games, also all volunteer. We don't have any income coming in, so we don't have any budget to work with. I mean, I couldn't just pay somebody out of my pocket because I'm not a rich person, and transcribing is a lot of work. And so we looked into it. We couldn't find a solution that really seemed to make sense, that didn't take up like tons of time. And I realized that doing accessibility is really important, but at the same time, I mean, I'm juggling 2 or 3 gigs. I know Carlos is super busy. I've got a son that I homeschool. So it's like, I got pretty limited time, and I just don't have the availability to sit down for 3 and 4 hours and transcribe something.
Yeah.
So we were looking at options. You brought up Headliner, which I'm going to look into a little bit more, but I also found out about Otter, Otter. I did a little bit of a test with that a couple days ago, and that worked out pretty well too, where I could put in just a straight up audio file. The thing processes it, and then it kicks out like a pretty good transcript. Still, the sticking point is that we talk so much on these shows and at such a rapid clip that even like 90 minutes ends up being like maybe like 3 hours of editing when you have to go through the text and fix errors and stuff.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so it's like I just feel stuck, man. I really want to transcribe these, but I just don't have a cost-effective way, and I don't have the free time. So maybe if there's a listener out there who would be interested in maybe doing some editing for the podcast, maybe I could send you a text. You could edit if you want to get a little shout out from me, perhaps. Or, I mean, I'm trying to think of something. I really would like to provide it, but I just don't see a viable option. So I'm open to ideas.
Well, the stopgap or the in-between thing is this Headliner app, because it does do the auto captions, and it is pretty easy now. that I know how to do it to switch and add like your name and my name, and
Yeah,
then
cool. Very
So
cool.
we'll be doing that with clips, and my goal would basically do like 2 or 3 clips an episode. Like that's like my goal,
Okay.
so that we can have like some of our best moments maybe done up each episode, and then if people who are deaf want to be able to check out at least some of the highlights that we always joke about, they'll be able to hear those.
Excellent.
Well, read them actually. So here's the other thing. You just brought up the point that my house is clean, but you brought up the idea of us not getting any money. We don't make any money on this podcast. That
Yes.
said, I really want to sell some T-shirts. Brad, what do you think? Put you on the
Well,
spot.
you can put me on the spot. We have talked about it a little bit. There are still some details to work out, but if we have some interest from the listeners, I think we could get some T-shirts together. Probably a good time to say that if you listen to this show, especially if you've listened to more than one, if you've listened to a couple of these and you consider yourself a fan of the show or even a friend of the show, let us know. Give us a shout on Twitter, maybe email. Let us know if you want a T-shirt, and if we get enough people, I think we could probably make that happen.
Yeah, we definitely can make that happen. I'm chomping at the bit to make that happen. I want the shirt myself, basically. So
All right.
let us know about that. The house is now cleaned.
Excellent, excellent. All right, that was quite a dirty house, slightly dirtier than expected, but now it is clean. We are free and ready to move on to the meat of the episode here on show number 227. Carlos, we're going to start with you, sir. Genesis Noir, playing it on PS5, I assume, or PC?
PS4 via PS5. What do I say each time? Because
I'm just saying PS5, dude.
Okay,
That's
okay.
all I'm saying, because it's on the PS5 and it's all integrated. I'm not going to make the distinction. I think, just a side note, as an editor, it is a fucking nightmare to have so many systems and to try to make those distinctions. Like, try to say something is on PS4 and on PS5 and
Right.
Xbox One, and it's on Xbox X and S and PC and Switch. It's like, fuck. Okay. It's like it's too much. I'm just saying, if it's running on a PS5, it's on fucking PS5. If it's running on the Xbox, I'm just saying the Xbox. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Anyway,
That's a
it's
good
nuts.
way
It's nuts.
to simplify it. But also, it's on the Xbox. I just remembered.
Yeah, I'm just saying Xbox, dude, because One, X, and S all work together and they're all basically unified. So I'm just saying Xbox and not saying anything else.
Yeah, the Xbox family. And by the way, I'm saying that I played Genesis Noir on the Xbox.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I just
Is it on
remembered.
Game Pass? Did you play
It's
on
on
Game
Game
Pass?
Pass. That's why. Yeah.
Okay. So Game Pass.
Yeah, I was going to buy it anyhow. I was looking at it for a while. I actually knew about this game. And so I saw it pop up on there, and I was like, well, I'll just get it there. Because
Excellent.
it's
Game Pass is amazing. It
in
is so
quotes
amazing.
free. Yeah.
I don't know anything about this other than it's a really experimental indie title. So please fill us in on Genesis Noir, other than the fact that it is on Game Pass, which is rad.
Okay, I'm gonna read the description because it's a very confusing game to explain, and I don't really want to explain too much of it because it's a great indie, like mind fuck experience. It's really, really messes with you in a good way. But here's the description that they give it.
Okay.
A noir adventure spanning time and space. When a love triangle between cosmic beings become a bitter confrontation, you'll witness a gunshot fired by a jealous god, otherwise known as the Big Bang. Jump into the expanding universe and search for a way to destroy creation and
Wow.
save your love.
That sounds like a tall order.
Yeah, it's almost unexplainable, but they did a pretty good job there. Basically, it's a adventure game, which I don't like too much unless it's done uniquely and the art's really, really cool. And that's
Like, are we talking point and click? Or are we talking first person walking sim? Or what kind of adventure are we talking about?
so you're walking a little character around, like looking top down view,
Top down. Okay.
top down 3/4 view, whatever that's called.
Okay.
And you are definitely kind of using your cursor as well, you're using like the controller as a cursor at some point, right? So you're moving your character, but then at points you're doing different things with the controller. I'll explain in a minute. So in general, you are moving a little character around who is this like detective, and it's all in this art style of just black and white. So very, very, very minimal. It works very, very well, though. It's incredible looking. It's all kind of cartoony, like hand drawn, wiggly drawing lines, black and white. And essentially you are, it's very noir. It's got like, the jazz music in the background. The character that you play is a detective. He like goes to a jazz club. There's a lot of like, just, smoking of cigarettes. And you start the game just like selling watches. You're just like selling watches in the alleyway. And at some point, it is very much like Twin Peaks or David Lynch, where one scene can just transition into another scene or a dream. Really, it's kind of very dreamlike, where there's not like just, oh, this happens and this happens and this happens and now go beat the monster or bad guy. It's like this happens and then wait, where am I? I'm floating around. Oh, I'm actually looking at the bottom of a cup, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of weird transitions, but you get to the point that they mention in the description, which is there's a girl you like, and she happens to sing at a club, and there's a altercation at some point, and this person who doesn't like you is shooting the love of your life, but the shot is paused, like in slow motion, right? Where you know those scenes where you like can go 360 all around it.
Sure, sure, sure.
But it's all 2D, but it's also 3D. So it's kind of like a 2D, 3D kind of thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean by that. 2D
I mean,
graphics.
I'm kind of imagining it, but continue.
It's great that I can explain it because this is a beautifully weird game. So, anyways, the whole game is this. What is the game loop? What are you doing? Well, you're seeing a lot of different scenes. The metaphor is, yes, you're saving a girl that you like. Yes, you're trying to save her from this guy that doesn't like you. But it's also, like they said, the creation of the universe, because these things are metaphors for like how the universe started. The game's called Genesis Noir.
So literally the genesis of the universe.
The genesis of the universe is like in every little bit. So it's like, how did plants start? How did like light start? How did the universe start expanding? Those things are tackled in the story somehow. And I can't explain how, but it does work. But what is the actual story and what's the game? This gunshot that's paused, you go into the gunshot for some reason. And in those little like explosion parts,
Sure.
there's scenes, and those scenes are your levels. And in those levels, you'll do all sorts of weird things. Like one is just like breaking down light rays that are like everywhere on this map. And when you get seeds that match the light rays go away. Anything I say is not going to make sense. You just have to play it. But what you're doing is you're getting clues from each level to figure out how to beat this guy before the gunshot finishes.
And so the gunshot is still like paused, and while this gunshot is paused, you're doing all sorts of other things
Yes.
at the same time, and hopefully you get all your tasks done before the bullet reaches its target, and then presumably, that's the end of the game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is also about like the reality
The universe
of
and
the universe, and
Yeah.
quantum physics and all that kind of stuff. But the real beauty is in the gameplay, because in those little levels, like I said earlier, it's not just you controlling a character, which you are doing, but lots of times, like say your character's floating in space, and now you're using the controller to line up a bunch of other parallel versions of him so that when they line up, then you can go to the next part. Or another one where you're walking around, you find the seed, you plant the seed. Once you plant the seed, you move your controller in a circle so that the day-night cycle goes by so the plant will grow. Like so many weird little, almost like WarioWare type moments.
Okay.
And this game is fucking cool. Like I can't explain it enough. Like it just comes out of nowhere. You're like, what is happening? I'm along for the ride. The music is so good. And yeah, I haven't finished it, but I'm very far. I've got all these clues, and it's just a treat, man. It's a real surprise game. I highly recommend it.
Excellent. Genesis Noir on Game Pass. I've heard a lot about it. I looked at some screenshots and a trailer, and I wasn't sure what was going on, but hearing you describe it has kind of helped me fill that picture in a little bit. And since it's on Game Pass, I mean, great. I'm just going to grab it. I sadly, my plate is really full right now. I don't have time for it, but it's definitely seeming like something that I should absolutely play before the end of the year. You think it's going to be like a top 10 contender?
For me, it really is already. Yeah, it really feels like no other game I've played ever. Period. Full stop. And also, like you said, even for people who have like very little time, you can just pick it up and play and put it down, because there's like one weird level where you're like figuring out time and you do a bunch of weird like controller stuff and then you put it down, and come back to it. So it's awesome. It looks great. It sounds great. High praise, Genesis Noir.
Excellent. Genesis Noir. It's on Game Pass, as we said. I believe it's on every other system, but if you do have an Xbox, I mean, grab it for free. Why don't you? Sounds good. That is definitely a thumbs up. I'm going to check that one out for sure. Jumping over to me for a minute here, I'm going to talk about a game which came out of nowhere. Complete surprise. In fact, I think I may have even gotten an email directly from the developer asking if I would take a look at it. And I don't know what it was about it that caught my attention because I get like 100 emails like that a day. Most of them I don't even bother to read because I just don't have the time. Literally don't have the time. But this one grabbed me. It's called Kosmokrats, Kosmokrats, Kosmokrats. Uh, it's on the Switch. It's probably on PC as well, I would guess. It's coming from a brand new studio out of Poland, new hotbed of talented development. Poland is like where it's at
Hmm.
these days. New developer called Pixel Delusion. This is their very first game, and I gotta say, I think they've done a great job. Spoilers, I think this game is awesome. It's kind of a three-pronged sort of indie game. It's got three major sections. So basically, the underlying concept is that you are a potato peeler on a like Soviet themed spaceship. You were like the lowest dude on the ship. Like everybody tells you what to do. You're like lower than the janitor even. You're like the bottom of the bottom. These Soviets are in space. They're kind of in a space race with the Americans, and their jam is they want to put together a bunch of like space stations and space ships in orbit, and they're kind of in a race. And so they do this by giving you a 3D like just like field. Like well, okay, it's not 3D, it's 2D with some physics attached to it, bunch of mechanical pieces floating in space, and then there is a guy who pilots a drone. This drone assembles these pieces. The twist is that the guy who pilots the drone, like, I'm not going to spoil it, but something happens to him and he's not available. So you, the potato peeler, must step into the drone pilot chair and take over for him. As you're putting these pieces together, I think just doing this part is really fun. All these little bits and bobs are floating in space. You pilot this drone, which like kind of rockets around. You can push them by, just like totally like piloting the drone right up next to it and just shoving it. It's also got like a little bit of a magnet attached to it, so you can pull a piece if you need to pull a piece. And that's all you do. You just push and pull. Super simple. But I think the trick to it comes with the physics because you're like in zero G, and sometimes you just nudge something and it goes spinning out of control because it's like in space with like, no gravity and no friction on anything. But the good thing is that all of these little pieces floating in space all have little color-coded magnets on them. So if you take a look around, you're like, okay, well, one piece over here kind of looks like it's got a red magnet, and there's another red magnet on this piece over here. You can kind of figure that out by careful examination, pilot the drone around, and push those pieces together. And once they get like reasonably close together, the magnets kind of kick in and they kind of like stick together. So you don't have to be like super precise about it,
Hmm.
but you do have to have some patience and skill. I think just doing that part is pretty entertaining, like piloting that drone around. It's almost like Tetris pieces in space, kind of, with little magnets attached to it. It's a pretty good puzzle. I like it. It's physics based. It's really fun to put the ships together. I think it works really well. That is the first part. The second part is that it is kind of a political satire, kind of criticizing, like, I mean, I'm not an expert on like Eastern Bloc like politics, but it seems like the old like Soviet Union kind of communist sort of a thing, where like there's all the people are at the bottom, they're working really hard, they're getting like potato rations, and the people at the top are like these lazy bastards who are like ordering them around and stuff. It's very very like 80s Cold War Soviet flavored sort of a thing. I mean, maybe it's
Hmm.
more specific than that, but to me, as an American who's not well versed in that field, I mean, maybe if I was a Polish person in Poland, I'd be like, oh, this is totally the XYZ regime or something like that. I mean, it's very possible, but I think it's probably safe to say it's just general Soviet political commentary satire, which I think is pretty funny. Like they're always talking about, the people at the bottom have to sacrifice so the people at the top can have more, and they're working them real tough, and it's a good little setup for the whole thing.
That's an interesting combination, by the way. Physics puzzler meets political satire.
There's one more piece, and this is the piece that really puts it over the top, though. The third piece is that there's an actual story being told here, and this story, I fucked it up. There's actually two more pieces. The
What?
third piece is that there's narrative story branching, and these branches have some pretty serious, long-reaching effects. So there, at certain points, there are certain things you can do, and the story will come up, and somebody will say, "Oh, we got to do this thing. Do you want to go here or do you want to go here?" And depending on which one you choose, it can totally change the branch of the story. You can help people, you can hurt people, you can get rid of some people. And it's all told from, you being the potato peeler who's piloting the drone. Like you kind of accomplish a lot of these things by either doing a job one way or maybe you don't do a good job and something else happens. And so you kind of do these like cool little choices in the middle of doing the puzzling. Very clever stuff. Really clever stuff. I like it like a ton. Very, very good. The other thing, in fact, I like it so much, I fucked up one of the choices, And I was almost ready to start the whole game over because I really wanted to make that choice, and I was really enjoying the game. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind doing that again. Luckily, you can rewind a little bit, so I just rewound and made a different choice. But I love they put that choice in there. But it mattered. Like I wanted to do that. Like it was important to me, which is great. The final thing, and this is not a roguelike at all, but there are some roguelike elements in the sense that if you mess something up, sometimes that's just like permanent. You got to roll with it. You can back out of a certain level if you mess things up, but if you wait and the game saves, like it just keeps on pushing forward. So like if you don't save the bin of potatoes, which is attached to the side of a satellite, and those potatoes get lost in space, like you lose a bunch of potatoes for your people, and so they go a little hungry. Or if you don't get a reactor attached to the ship in time, that thing goes nuclear and that whole thing is blown up and you lose all those resources. I mean, a lot of little things like that can happen. And also, every time you try a level, it's different. So, for example, I was doing some kind of a little space station thing, and I was not getting it. Like I was messing it up. I couldn't get the pieces together. I was like, okay, fuck this. I stopped, exited the game, came back in, doing the same level, but the ship was different. So like every time you come back, like the ship that you're putting together is a new blueprint. Like you can't just practice on the same one over and over. You actually have to like do it and just figure it out as you go.
So it's like procedural then.
It's kind of procedural. I mean, I don't know if it is procedural. It seems like it's procedural. Could be procedural, but like as I'm playing, I'm noticing like it's just different every single time I play. Like sometimes a piece on your ship will break, and sometimes you'll mess something up and there's nothing you can do about it. Or sometimes there's like a new penalty that you have to deal with. Like, like sometimes it'll be like, oh, your drone lost power, and I guess too bad for you. And like stuff like this happens, and it just totally keeps the whole thing fresh, keeps me on my toes, and none of it's like super harsh and penalizing, but like it's enough to make me think, oh, okay, well, now I have this new hurdle I got to get over, and now I got to, deal with another thing that I didn't deal with last time. So even though the game is fairly simple in terms of like the puzzling, and this is not like AAA stuff we're talking about, it's indie, but I think it's really, really smart, really, really well done, and like that little randomized element has like kind of like freaks me out sometimes because I never know what's going to happen, and I'm always like, oh shit, what am I going to deal with this time?
I love
sometimes
that.
it is really good, dude. And sometimes you get a really complicated ship. Sometimes you get a super easy ship. Like there's a big difference between 15 pieces to assemble and 4 pieces to assemble, So like you like never know what you're going to get, and it just really keeps you engaged and awake, and you can't just like sleepwalk your way through it. So overall, dude, I think this is like a fucking brilliant game. I mean, the political stuff, the narrative branching, just the physics of the puzzling, and then like the randomized element too, like really smart. You can tell that these people really give a shit about what they're doing, and they're trying new things. They're kind of like breaking out of a couple genres, blending a couple genres together. Overall, I think this is like a fantastic game, dude. I super love it.
That's crazy. So we basically just started the whole podcast with 2 hard to define games that we both loved.
Love fest, absolute double love fest.
Yeah, and I was actually expected to come into this episode very salty. I told you pre-podcast. And this is just love all over the place. Now, here's the thing. I want to definitely download this game because I love the mixing of genres, but I love, like what you said, that just slight randomization. You don't have to procedurally generate the whole world in an open world game or whatever, but like just a little bit here and there, that not just replayability, but like if I play it now, I won't have the same exact experience as you will,
Not at all. Yeah, not at all.
And so I'm going to download it. You got me interested enough. Definitely downloading it.
Good. Everybody listening to this podcast, if you know my taste and if you know the kind of games that I like, this game is like so in the pocket. It is such a great game. I love this game. It's so brilliant. You can tell that the developers really gave a shit about what they were doing. I mean, just total thumbs up all the way. I have like basically no complaints about it at all. It's a really wonderful experience. Kosmokrats.
I was going to ask what it's called again.
Kosmokrats with a K.
Okay.
It's on the Switch. It's a great fit for Switch. I'm betting it's on PC as well. Also, check it out. It's really, really good stuff.
Cosmokrats and Genesis Noir.
Genesis Noir.
Get them both, people.
2 wins in a row. We're going to break that love streak, I suspect, with this next game. It's called I Saw Black Clouds.
Which, by the way, is very fitting that that's the name of it.
Absolutely. Foretelling.
Yes.
It is a prescient title for this game. Put out by the good people at Wales Interactive. And before we say anything else, Carlos, and I'm sure that you'll agree, I love Wales Interactive. I love that these people are kind of single-handedly bringing FMV games back. They're doing a lot of good work. They're super friendly. They've made a lot of really good choices with their game releases. As a publishing house, I really like them a lot. I am super pulling for them. I want them to succeed. I like them a lot. I love what they're doing. I am down, with Wales Interactive. Do you agree, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm down with them so much. I love that they brought it back in a different way. The games that I think we both enjoyed is The
Yes.
Bunker
Yes.
and Late Shift.
Yes.
And both
Absolutely.
those came from Wales. And I just I didn't have anything bad to say about any of them. I think The Bunker had some couple weird things of choices of when they added like game graphics to the real world stuff. And sometimes that looked a little weird to me, or just like still images, you know?
Yeah.
But other
But
than that,
overall, super good.
super good. And then that's why I mentioned this game, I Saw Black Clouds, on the podcast many times before it came out because I was like, well, it looks like a creepy version, a dark, creepy story, and it's from the people that we like these FMV games that they've been doing. So
Absolutely.
enter the game, I Saw Black Clouds.
Yes. So, and again, I do love Wales Interactive. Before we
You
start
have
saying
to
anything
say
about
it
this game,
again.
I wanted to say that real clear because I know they're going to listen. I love you guys. I love Wales Interactive.
We both love you.
We both love
We
them. And
really,
yes,
really love you.
any game they put out, I'm going to give a shot to because I'm absolutely willing to give them the benefit of the
Right,
doubt.
right. By the way, before we, if it's not already apparent what we're about
So
to
many
do,
caveats to this.
yes. But you did play it with me though. Like we both did
Yes.
try it out. So
Yes. Man. Okay, so basically, I Saw Black Clouds, FMV game, which means it's real actors being filmed, and then those film clips are assembled into a game. You make choices at certain parts. The basic story, and I'm going to let you kind of fill this in a second here. The basic story is that the game starts off with a girl who like hangs herself. You play a girl who was her friend, and you're kind of like investigating about why did she kill herself. Soon after the game starts, things kind of start getting a little crazy, and then it kind of goes from there. So that's the basic premise. Full disclosure, I thought this game was miserable. I thought it was really, really bad. I I had major problems with the script writing. I had major problems with the editing. The sound wasn't really good either, and I noped out. Like I'm sure that this game is only like 2 hours long or something like that, and I could not make it through. I just thought it was really bad, and in fact, I got to one scene that I was kind of like hate playing, and it glitched. It glitched
oh
and it lost some
no,
progress, and I'm like, well, that is the universe telling me I don't need to play this game anymore. So
yeah,
I deleted it at that point,
that was
and I
your
never came
mystery
back to
door.
it.
That was your dark clouds door out of the
Yep,
game.
that was my door out. So Carlos, did you? Number one, do you feel that way that I do? And number two, did you finish this game?
I didn't. I was so close to finishing, and
Oh, you didn't finish it
I didn't
either.
either. Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
get a glitch, but I was hate playing it for a while at the end there
yeah,
because
dude.
I'll tell you the things I didn't like about it, and a lot of these things are fixable. You know what I mean? Like there's so much that can be done in this genre, and I think that they have done a really good job with expanding this genre for a while and doing
Yeah,
different things.
single-handedly, man.
Yeah.
Single-handedly. Yes.
But what was wrong in this one? Obviously, in the beginning, this is all subjective. But in the beginning, it starts with a suicide. When you're in this kind of mental state that a lot of us are in, which is we're stuck at home and kind of feeling depressed, kind of is a slight version of that. Really feeling depressed lots of times.
Yeah.
It was just a Debbie Downer to start on. So, and I hated the idea that the whole game was like on this premise of this woman who died, and then we're going to a funeral, and I just wasn't. When I saw the cover, you see the cover of this, the main image for the game. It's like this
Sure.
woman in a black jacket, and she's looking at this forest, and I'm like, ooh, she's going to go into a mystery forest. But so it just starts too real for me,
Yeah.
and then it gets corny. Like there's which they haven't done in other movie games, where spooky stuff starts happening, but the spooky stuff is like someone grabs them with a hand that comes out of nowhere from underneath the table, like old school horror stuff that's corny.
Yeah.
And
It's like Night Trap kind of stuff.
like Night Trap, yeah, really, really weird that it was so bad. And then, by the way, many hands reach out in this game. There's a lot of mystery hands that just
Like
pop out.
grabby happening.
I don't know. Again, it doesn't make any sense. And even if it like later on when I finish the game, it explains that it was somebody's hand or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's done corny. And then the other big problem is that lots of times when they give you these choices, like in The Walking Dead or in other games like this, you really do feel like you've made a difference. You went down a different
Yes.
path. Most of the time in this game, it didn't matter what I chose.
Oh, dude, you are so 100% correct, dude. That is a cardinal sin
Cardinal
in a
sin.
game like this, because if you're going to give a player choice, they want that choice to matter, right? And like many games have done that and done it really well. I mean, the one we just talked about, Kosmokrats, like totally makes you feel like you made a big choice. And I Saw Black Clouds, you're 100% right, dude. Like I chose, okay, so try not to spoil anything here, but you're talking to somebody and I didn't trust this person and this person is like, trust me. And I'm like, no. And you can't do anything. Like you cannot progress the game until you eventually say, okay, yes, I trust you. And I'm like, okay, well then why did you ask me? Why did you give me the choice? Like, don't give me the choice hoping that what? I'm going to say yes and that I won't realize that I don't actually have a choice because you're just railroading me, man. Like I don't want to be railroaded. Don't give me a choice if it's not a real choice.
That's we can mini spoiler. It's just a psychiatrist in the game.
Yes.
And the same thing happened with me, and I basically just didn't want to trust her because this woman is crazy, and like it's very similar to the movie Get Out, which isn't really a spoiler at all. But there's a woman there who's trying to be like get in this guy's head. And you know that that's what she's trying to do.
It's
you know?
super obvious, of course.
And like you just came, like the character just came there to like ask her about her dead friend and, you know, whatever, some simple things and get out. Get out, pun intended. But she obviously is like going to try to like mess with her immediately. And you're like, fuck off, you know? Like me as playing as the character is like, no, get me out of here.
Yes, and, exactly the same, dude. Exactly the
same. And every no basically becomes like, come on, you got to let me in. And she's like, no. She's like, yeah, but you really mean yes, right? So,
and you can't do anything until you fucking say yes at the end. It fucking sucks.
Oh no, I never said yes, by the way. In that,
but
scenario.
You still do the thing though. You can't not
do
the
thing. Yeah, but I said all the no's.
But you still do it anyway, which is super frustrating.
Later on, though, it happens again because I played further than you, I think. And
you did.
There's another moment where it was basically like, "Where do you want to go?" And I was like, "I want to go this way, or I want to do this thing." And they were like, "Cool, you do that thing, kind of, but now we're gonna bring you this way."
Yep.
Which you know what that is? That's just not filming enough scenes.
Exactly.
Right. So that would have made a big difference. Because here's the thing: even if it's corny. I like corny. You know, I can get into some corny or like, you know, B-roll or B-movie type stuff.
Sure. We're not against it.
And a B-movie type choose your own adventure could be really funny if you're like shooting enough scenes for me to make like really weird choices. You know, imagine, by the way, this doesn't exist, I don't think. But like a B-movie horror movie, like Until Dawn, right? And it's live action, and you film tons of different like endings, you know, tons of different side things where you just die all of a sudden. Like that would be so fun to play. Like, you know, right now we'd be talking about I Saw Black Clouds, right?
Exactly.
And it's this version of the game that I want to exist that doesn't. And I was like, oh well, I actually died in the beginning because I like, you know, was in a blender. Somehow I got stuck in my hand got in a blender and I died. And you're like, what? You know? But that's not this game. This game is basically trying to tell you one story, I think.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude, don't pretend to offer choice when you're not offering choice. And on top of that, like some of the stuff it just didn't make sense. Like at one point in the game, I didn't know who I was talking to, and I was supposed to make a choice on this person, and I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. I've never seen this person before. And this other part where you're running down a hallway, escaping from this, I mean, I guess a killer, I suppose. At the time, it just looks like a dude wearing a jacket, and it's like you're running in this hallway, and it's like left to right, and I'm like, well, I have literally no information. I have to choose, so I choose one way, and then you get to the end of the hallway, and then you can see the two doors. I'm like, no, you gotta show the doors before you let me choose, because then I'd have at least some information to go on, and you know, it's stuff like that, like this other scene where out of nowhere, I find myself in a principal's office. I don't know why I'm there, with a friend who has shown up out of nowhere. We're talking about something that I'm not really clear about what we're talking about. And then it's over. And I'm like, what did that scene mean? Yeah. Why do we do this? There's no like logical connection. And it just feels like a super poorly strung together script where they didn't film enough scenes. They didn't think it all the way through. They clearly didn't have enough budget, and they just went ahead with it anyway. And it just really shows, man. Like compared to some of the other stuff that Wales has put out, some really, really good, compelling content, this just can't hold a candle to those. And it's just not a good game. Like I just really disliked it, like all the way from A to Z.
Yeah, a great example of what you just mentioned is that there's a forest. I don't know if you got to a forest. It's probably the same thing, right? We played the same game. And they're like, do you want to go left or right? And I was like, why does it matter? You know? And then I picked one, and they go, now do you want to go left or right? And I was like, but what? I don't even know why I'm choosing left or right.
Exactly. There's no reason. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, it's simple programming. It's shooting more scenes, and I think if you're going to go campy, which unfortunately this falls into that category, then just go all the way.
But like it's bad campy. It's not good campy. It's real bad.
Right. You know what we used to call this? Quick tangent. Nowadays, younger people might remember the term straight to DVD, right?
Sure, sure,
Even if
sure.
you're younger, you've heard that probably. Well, back in my day, in our day, I'll say, it was straight to VHS.
Straight, yes,
And
and
there
thank you.
was VHS movies that were made, indie movies, and I watched a lot of horror movies like that.
Oh yeah, same.
Right. And one was called Satan's Storybook. I remember that one for some reason. And it was like even though it's called that, it's like not scary and, not even gory, and they had like fake blood packets. You could see them squishing them with their hands. It's like someone just took a camcorder out, and like made a movie and then put it straight to VHS. It when the hands started coming out and reaching for people's legs, I started thinking of straight to VHS.
Yeah, it feels like they're. Oh man, I'm trying to think of how they could have made this better. I mean, definitely a better script, better editing. And like you said, like we're okay with B movie stuff, and you don't have to have AAA production values, but it just the final product is so poorly put together on so many levels. Like it just was really painful to play, and if I can't sit through something for 2 hours, I mean, it's got to be pretty bad.
I know. I think it's 90 minutes too. By the way,
Oh, it's not
I
even two
heard.
hours,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
90 minutes.
Because
Yeah,
I played a good chunk, but yeah, I think that's it. I think that like you just go all the way in. If it's going to be a little, if you, I mean, you're looking at the production of it, you're seeing the edit, right? The people who are making the movie.
yeah, yeah.
Just go like, oh, look, the hand thing. That's kind of that's kind of corny. Why don't we go all in and just like make it really ridiculous? So, anyways, it's a miss
Yeah.
for both of us, but I still have support and faith in them. So hopefully they can come back.
Oh yeah, they're gonna come back. They're gonna come out with something better. I'll try every single game that they put out. So I have no
So will
doubt
I.
they're
So
gonna
will I.
come around. So anyway, that was I Saw Black Clouds. I think that was definitely a no from both of us there. Moving on is a game that I have heard a lot about for like at least the last year, if not longer. Heard tons and tons and tons about it from all of my PC brethren on Twitter and all in the review osphere. But as people who listen to the show know, I don't really basically ever play games on PC. It takes a pretty something special to get me play on PC. And my patience finally paid off because Disco Elysium finally released on console. It is now on PS5 with an expanded, I don't know, some kind of like final definitive edition or something like
Director's
that.
cut.
Director's cut, Disco Elysium. Very excited to give this a try. Carlos, you played it as well.
I did play it. I played it on the console, and I was waiting for. I mean, I could have played my PC, but I definitely was waiting as well to just sit on the couch and get into it. So yeah, I played it on my PS5.
Excellent. That is where I played it as well. It's kind of hard to nutshell what this game is, but I'll give it my best shot here, and then we'll go to you, Carlos, for your reaction. Basically, you play a detective who wakes up after just like being blackout drunk, and you're like half naked, and you don't know where you are, and you don't know who you are. Like you've even so drunk to the point you forgot your own name, and you pick yourself up, and you have to kind of put together who you are as a person. Like you don't even know you're a cop at first. You got to figure that out, and find your clothes and kind of pull yourself together. It's seen from a top-down, kind of an isometric perspective. It's kind of an open world design, not really open world. I mean, that's kind of overselling it. It's like you're in these big areas where you are free to walk around, and it's kind of a point and click interface where you'll see hotspots on the screen. You can also push a button to highlight some hotspots. You go over there and look at those things. But a lot of your experience with the game really depends on your choices. And before the game even starts, you have to pick what kind of a person you are. I think there's like 16 or maybe even 20 different kind of personality traits, and each one has like a 1 through 5 stars or something like that. I don't know about you, Carlos, but I picked mostly like intuition and logic sort of thing. But you can also pick like physical. You can pick like artistic. I mean, there's a whole range of like personality types, and those have a huge impact on how you see things, what kind of options are available to you. And as you go through the game, you look at hotspots, you meet characters, you talk to them, and it's weird and it's kind of hard to describe, but this is an RPG, and there are people in the world, but mostly the characters that you're talking to are the voices inside your own head, and so each one has a different personality trait, and those correspond to the traits that you have. So, for example, I put a lot of stock into like the logic, and so the logic voice comes up a lot, and he'll be like, oh, here's a clue, and here's this thing, and I figured this out, and that's great. But then there's also like artistic voices, and there's also like scared voices, and all these different kind of voices pop up, and you can decide whether to listen to them or not. And sometimes you don't have enough points, and so you can't do the thing that they want you to do, or maybe you can. It's really strange interesting kind of experimental game that I think so far I really really like a lot, but I'm not far into it, and the reason for me being it's really dense, and
Yeah.
I find that if I just have like 20 minutes, like that's not enough time to really get into it and really wrap my head around it. Like I need like a 2 hour block to get in and just like really dig into it, like really read all the text, like really think about my choices. And there's a lot of choices to make and a lot of ways to fuck up those choices. I've already fucked up a couple. So I don't like to play when I've only got a few minutes, which means I haven't played a whole lot, but I really like what I've seen so far. And I'm really looking forward to playing more. Now, Carlos, feel free to add anything if you feel like I have not described it very well. But what is your take on Disco Elysium so far? What do you think about it?
Well, before I get to my take, adding to what you were saying about the game, some other kind of features of it. When you said the voices that talk to you in your own head, basically different versions of your own psyche, lots of times it is the same voice, and lots of times it really basically is the narrator. Like, so I think it helps like describe what your situation is,
Mm-hmm.
and I found it as for me it was more like a narration almost of everything that was going on. And then of course there's a lot of great voice acting, so I'll definitely give it points for that because there's tons of great characters and they're all voice acted. I think in the director's cut is why they're all voice acted, and maybe the original they weren't.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I heard. The other thing is that, like you said, I won't call this a role playing game. I don't think it is at all, and I have some very big issues with this game. We'll get
Really?
to.
That's interesting. I think this is entirely a role
I'll
playing
explain to
game.
you why I don't think it's
Okay.
a role
Okay.
playing game because yeah, you're role playing this character, but he's a very defined character. Even though people give the illusion of that you have empathy and you're focusing on that trait, or you're focusing on physical, so you can like do physical things more. It's a very very small, in my opinion, very very small difference versus like a true role playing game where you're really leveling up a lot of different things and your character has, I don't know, you're actually role playing is how you want to see the character be. I just feel like this is an adventure game. Like this feels like a straight up adventure game where you're trying to find the right things to go into the right holes, the right thing to open the right thing, and it just feels like a pre-planned adventure game. I don't like this game. I think so.
Really?
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
surprised to hear that.
I am too. It's a controversial maybe, but like I that's yeah, it doesn't feel like a role playing game at all to me because one thing is you're struggling the whole time. Like I'm not sure if like hour 10 or however long this game is, if I'm going to feel more of a badass because I've upgraded my empathy, or something, or maybe I decided to switch and go to physical and upgrade my physical. Now I feel like I can have more choices. But in the beginning of the game, for sure, and again, a lot of it's expectation. Don't feel like you're going to be a badass at all. You're just a terrible person. You, like you said, you woke up drunk and you don't know where your badge is or your gun is, and you're really just like lost. And everything you try to do or try to talk to is difficult. Like you have no money and you have to like go find money on the ground. And it's like, even after I found like 2 sections of money, I still didn't have enough money to get the one thing I needed for the main quest item. So for me, a role playing game is about empowerment and leveling up. And this game is a fucking adventure game where, and I'll definitely listen to your retort, but it's an adventure game where you just are doing the things they want you to do. Yes, you can do it in different ways. Like I'm going to go talk to this person, make this, I'm going to join the workers who are fighting for their rights or something. That just feels like different branching paths on an interactive adventure game to me. And I have a lot
Well,
more to say, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think you said it correctly when you said it's all about expectations, right? So, like in terms of RPGs, I mean, you could say in any RPG, well, I'm just doing what the developers want me to because there's only so many ways to do this quest, and I got to do it this way. I mean, that's true of any game, right? Like we're not like in a life simulation, so I think in this, I get what you're saying about a point and click or like an adventure game. I do think that you are correct in many ways about that because I do think this game very much has that kind of point and click adventure. I need some kind of item to get past here, and I don't know how to do it.
Mm.
But to me, the role playing is about like you said, I think you really understand this game very well. You kind of put the nail on the head for me. Is that you're role playing how this character is, like how he interacts with the world? Is he a drunk asshole? Is he a peaceful artist? Is he, like a labor sympathizer? Is he a communist? Like, like there's lots of different ways you can play him, and that has real strong repercussions on everybody that you talk to, like the way that you interact with people. So I think it's kind of a role playing in the truest sense of like, I am this guy and I am trying to figure out what my role is. How do I do these things? So I think that part is really good. And you're totally correct in that you are disempowered, and I think that is really the point of the game. I don't think that there probably will ever come a point in the game where you feel like a badass or that you're rolling through it. I mean, I think the whole point is like this guy is like struggling. He's a fuck up. He's had, he's drinking problem and all this stuff. And so it's just about you trying to like, if you want to make yourself a better person, or you can kind of immerse yourself in the rottenness and become an even more rotten person. So to me, that's what it's all about. Like role playing this guy, not necessarily that you're raising stats or that you're going to be like a super character at the end of it. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think it's more about, just the experience of the personality interactions along with the voices in your head.
This is an unusual game to think that this would create this tangent that we have really not talked about on the show yet, and not sure if this is the time, because I feel like it's a whole episode.
Oh no!
But like, what is a role playing game? Because that is what we're trying to like bump up against. I agree with the fact that you're role playing this character, so that is, I guess, true, right? You're being this character who has very defined like start, and if everything is to be believed about how different the endings could be, that's interesting. But that still, to me, just feels like an adventure game that has multiple paths, and I can't see the choices. And by the way, they're not like a lot of stats within this psyche kind of menu. I can't see those choices, in my opinion, and maybe I'll finish the game, hate play it, then finish it to see. But I don't see them being as wide of a difference than like other games, or even like you said, you might not ever feel like a badass, and that's fine. But again, there's other role playing games you do, so it is about how you define role playing games. But that is a cloudy area to go into. Let me go back to the actual game itself, whether it's a role playing game or not. The biggest problems I have with it is, one, the disempowerment is not for me. Like, I don't like playing a game where I'm just totally powerless and it takes forever, it seems like, to get anything. Like, that just is in a world where right now my whole life, my real world life, is difficult, and I've got to like, it takes a lot to get anything. That's like the opposite of what I want to play for fun. Secondly, the interface can go fuck right off. On console, it can go fuck right off.
Oh, really? How so?
Oh, I'll tell you how so. I'm glad you asked. How much.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about how it can fuck right off. So on the PS5, you use the right analog stick to move in the direction of things that are interactable. Now, there's also a left trigger that shows you, like you alluded to, things that are interactable. It doesn't choose everything, by the way. Sometimes I think that left trigger doesn't show everything that's interactable. I don't know why. But when you do finally decide, okay, this is the door I want to go into, you use your right analog and you point it at it. There's no little arrow when you point. There's no anything when you point. When you use the right analog stick, nothing happens. Unless you happen to be over wherever the exact spot is that they want you to be, then an X will show up. Now, sometimes when you have your right analog pointed at said X, you push X and nothing happens. Then you do it again, and then it does work. So basically, and then by the way, it also repositions the character when you've picked the door you want to walk into, and moves him in front of the door. Like, you can't just go into a fucking door. I hate it so much, Brad, and I have no idea how much I don't know how you can't.
It doesn't bother me at all. Like, I know what you're saying. It's just an interface choice. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but didn't you do it where it doesn't get it? It doesn't pick it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the weird thing where sometimes you'll select like a hotspot. Like, I was confused by this. Full disclosure, I was kind of confused by this at first, where you start walking towards something, but you can't interact with it. And then I realized, oh, you got to use the right stick to like highlight these hotspots and then pick the hotspot. But then when you pick the hotspot, there's like a little yellow X or a circle with lines or something on the floor, and then the character has to be standing on that yellow spot in order to interact with the thing that you've highlighted. It's pretty finicky. Like, I don't think it's the best way to do it. I don't know why they chose that way. But it's just one of those things where it's like, that's the way it is, and if I'm going to play this game, I better get used to it. So I just kind of roll with it. I mean, it's not optimal.
I know,
it doesn't bother me.
But for how much we talk about on this podcast, like playability and also portability, when we talk about consoles and porting, like, that's the first thing they should have changed. Like, just change it. It's a console game. You walk up, you fucking go in the door. Like that, I don't want that to be the reason I stopped playing this game. Like I literally stopped it the other night because I was like, no, I tried something for 4 times and I couldn't get in the I couldn't get in the door to get into the place where I couldn't even afford the thing that I needed. Here, okay, I'm not done. One more thing that I hate.
Okay, sure, yes.
I'm very, very angry
I can tell, yes. Keep
because
going.
I love these developers and I love the art style. There's so much to like here, Brad. I know, but I think I might stop playing this fucking game. So
Okay.
the last thing is this. Again, I don't know what kind of choice you really have, but in the very beginning of the game, just to fucking, and this is minor spoilers, just to look at the dead body, which is the main fucking thing of the game. There's a dead body. You're a fucking cop detective. I can't look at the dead body because it grosses me out. Oh, I'm grossed out. Now, if I had picked a different physical attribute, maybe it wouldn't have happened. But I picked empathy. Screw me. I picked empathy.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to throw up every time I look at the body. But not only am I going to throw up, I can't even look at the body. That's it.
Right.
I'm stopped from the game. Like the main mission,
Yes.
not happening. So then I go get the ammonia after I could afford the fucking thing, after I found change in an alleyway and did all these fucking weird things to get money. Got the ammonia, which I love that lady in the store, the Fritz store. She's so funny. And then I go back out, use the ammonia. I didn't even know how to use it. You can't use it. You know, you just have it in your inventory. And
Just take a whiff of it, I guess. I don't know.
I throw up again though. I throw up again, and then he goes, "Yeah, take this ammonia, put it in your nose or whatever." Yeah, okay, cool. All right, let's come back later. You still can't look at the body. No, fuck off. You can't look. You're too sick. We'll come back. We'll come back? What is this game? What? We'll come back? This is the main thing? In every other game, you'd be doing the main thing and then make choices. I can't even fucking do the first. Now, did you have the ability to look at the body?
No, there are some skills that do let you look at the body without a problem. I did not have that skill, so I had the same problem that you had. I was too nauseous, and the body was too gross because it was a rotting body, and you couldn't get close to it because it smelled too bad, etc., etc. So no, I'm still working on that part. I'm doing
that
other
part,
things.
by the way, is the main part, isn't it? Of like
It's like the very
story?
first main. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
totally the main part. So, I mean, yeah, it's one of those games where I think it's about the experience. It's not really about the doing of the thing. Where you're kind of like, I think to me, the enjoyment I'm getting is the interplay of the voices in your head with the choices that you're making to kind of see the strange reactions you're getting and how this character kind of interacts with the world. I think is really the main draw. I do agree that it is a little bit of a weird choice that they make it so difficult for you to do the thing that you're there to do. But I'm assuming that you press on a little bit, you figure out another way around it, and along the way you will probably have 25 different interesting conversations, and all sorts of stuff will pop up for you. So I'm, friends told me, and I think it was even Mike Susky, game critics writer Mike Susky, who direct messaged me the other night, and he was like, "Hey, just heads up, a lot of people get frustrated because you want to keep moving forward. But this game often makes you delay a lot of those things that you think you should do right away." He's like, just roll with it. Don't get too frustrated. And, I think that seems to be panning out, right? Like the things that you think would be go here, do this thing, move on, are actually like these really long quest chains that kind of take you through all of these other experiences before you get there. So with that knowledge in mind, I think I'm okay to kind of just like absorb it and take it all in. And I'm not really like in a rush. But I can totally get what you're saying,
What's funny is, okay, I'll say a positive and negative. The positive is, to that point, and why a lot of my friends like it, it is like a story, right? It's
Yeah,
like, do you
tons
want
of narrative, yeah.
do you want to sit down, and that's why I don't think it's a role-playing game, but anyways, do you want to sit down and really get in these really cool conversations? And yes, role play, I guess, like choices, interactive fiction, and really get into it, and like look at some amazing art, some great voice acting, then fine, that'll probably be for you. If you want a role-playing game, I don't think this is it. If you want a game where you can actually feel empowered, this isn't it. If you want a game where you can do a lot in one sitting, this isn't it. So it's a lot of things that it isn't. And so for me, my unpopular opinion is I think I might hate this game. And like I don't think I'm playing it anymore, but I see the aspects of why people liked it. I do love the art style. There's a lot of things to like, but it's just so frustrating to me. And the more you play, to me, the more I play, the more I get frustrated because I feel like, oh, by now I should know more about the story. I should know more. I should have more money. or I should have more tools, or I should be able to do things easier. And then the controls on top of that, like really fuck me over because I'm like, oh, now I finally found this place I want to get into, and I can't even like I have hit the button like 5 times, exaggeration, maybe 3 times, and I finally open the canister, So
Yeah.
I don't. I really think I really dislike this game, and I think it's interesting that us and so much of the people that we follow and stuff like that online, I think that it's like we're giving them a pass because the other stuff is so good. But if a game wasn't have like an incredible art direction and incredible sound and incredible voice acting, would we give it the same passes? Because I think we've talked about games like this on the podcast, and you know what I mean. It's been much easier to pass on it, but maybe this one inherited a bunch of great will.
I mean, I'm gonna counter you on that. I
Okay,
think that
please
this
do.
is again coming down to expectations and recording all these episodes with you and knowing the kind of games that you like. I think that this is just not a Carlos game, which is totally fine. I know the kind of games you like. You like the numbers to go up. You like to have these, be empowered. This is 100% not that game, right? And it seems like all your complaints are about it's not delivering the kind of experience that you feel like you want to get from it, but you're not getting what it's actually giving, right? And maybe that's not for you. It's totally fine. This kind of reminds me of like a David Lynch film or like Twin Peaks or something, right? Where you're like, hey man, this David Lynch, like what the fuck? Like I feel like it's like episode 3. I should know who the killer is by now. What's going on? But it's not about that, right? Like it's about like the atmosphere, the ambiance, the mood, the suggestions. And I kind of feel like it's similar here where yeah, there's a murder going on, but that's not really the thing. Like what you're coming to this game for is about the character writing, the internal dialogue, this character's view on the world, how you can mold this character. And I think disempowerment's a big part of that. I mean, I do agree with you about the cursor stuff. That's kind of weird. I wish they would clean that up. But other than that, I think this is just not your kind of game, and that's totally fine. But I do really like what it's doing. And I think it's really different and unique. And I absolutely do think it is a role playing game, like 100% role
Wow,
playing
we'll
game.
agree to
So
disagree then. Yeah.
we're going to have to agree to disagree. Yeah, for sure.
And but to your point, I mean, like David Lynch is one of my heroes. I love David Lynch. I've seen every film.
I mean, haven't you heard people like watch something of David Lynch's and go, "What the fuck? I don't understand this about whatever."
Right, but
You know,
so yes to your expectation, right? And expectation to everything we talk about all the time on the show. No, a no but, not a yes to end, but a no but for the David Lynch reference because that's a style and substance over like you want to just get in and mix it up with this style that Lynch is presenting, and that could be like a lot of different directors, right? And you're gonna watching this thing, and it's not going to move as fast as you want because he's going to take his time. He's going to do whatever he wants, but you have to enjoy it. So, like you said, maybe not for me.
that's literally what you're describing about this game. The only difference is you just don't like this game, but like that structure is literally the thing you just said.
Right, but most importantly is what I'm finally saying is that yeah, I don't enjoy it. Right, so like
and it's totally fine, dude. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I know, but okay, I guess I think there's a third thing I was going to say, but I can't remember now. But I agree with you that is a style, and I don't like the style. I think that's the end of the day. But a style of gameplay, right? Not even style, because I love the art. We talked about that. I like the voice acting. I just don't like what it's doing. Here's the other thing I was going to say. Yeah, we can talk about style all day, and it just is not my thing, not my jam. But Lynch is my jam. Put that out there.
Okay, sure.
But at the same time, like the playability, we're talking about video games too, like is difficult. And if that happened one more time, and it's going to because they didn't patch it. So if I boot it up right now, that fucking cursor thing's going to happen again. And the playability part where, like, I don't know what I just feel like it's a lot of talking and not much playing, like, or even choosing. I don't know. There's just so much.
That's exactly the kind of game this is, though. I mean, you're calling it out, and I think it's just as simple as this is just not a Carlos game, which is totally fine. I mean, I'm really enjoying how much talking there is. I'm really enjoying the conversations, and I'm just in the mood for that. Like, I mean, there's probably a million games that you really like that I dislike, and vice versa. So I think maybe we're just going to be on opposite ends of this one. I think what this game is delivering is really good and solid, but if you don't like it, I mean, that's totally fine, man. Like some people really like licorice. I think licorice is fucking disgusting. But some people fucking love it, and it's we're not ever going to agree on that, and it's okay to not agree.
No, I love agreeing to disagree. I'm just trying. There's another point I'm trying to make, and I can't think of it. So I'll think of it offline, and I will put it in a tweet somewhere. I don't know.
We will do that. All right. So that is Disco Elysium. Seems like we're kind of split on that. Carlos, seems like you're kind of out, which I totally respect 100%. I am going to keep going. I really like this game a lot. My only problem is, like I said, I need to play it in like 2-hour chunks, and I'm having trouble finding that amount of raw time. So this may be kind of a slow play for me. I don't think I'm going to be like getting through it in a week. So I may talk about it another couple times over the next few episodes, depending on how fast I get through it. But I think it's really cool. I like what it's doing, and it's definitely a different sort of thing.
Let me say one thing to that, because you just remind me. No, you remind me what it was. And I'm going to ask you to do it, because if you're going to be the person who reports back, right?
Sure,
I think one of the bigger things is, and I want to see if it bothers you, because I feel like it will. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
Something that might actually bother you about this is the time it takes to do something. That's really what I'm trying to hit here. Like, yes, David Lynch takes a fucking way too long, or not too long, just his amount of time to even do like one scene. And you're like, what's happening? So I get that. But that's what I feel like. Mix all those things I just said, the bad controls, which I think they should fix on console, the lack of resources and hard to find things. By the way, we didn't even mention backtracking. There was one scene where I had to go back and forth four times to do one thing. And the fact that you can't even look at the dead body yet. That's my main gripe with it. I think I finally figured it out. Is that it's just taking too long to enjoy the world. There it is. I finally arrived at my main gripe. So, with that said, and I feel much more at ease with myself that I figured it out.
Okay, good.
Take that with you when in your playthrough and see if that's the problem, because I feel like that is still an issue.
All right, I will put that in my back pocket. We will see how it goes. I got to just find the time to play it. So,
okay.
We'll report back. We'll talk about it again in the future, I am sure. There's Disco Elysium. We're both playing the deluxe director's cut on PS5. There you go. 2 more games and then we're out. Carlos, Luckslinger is a game I've kind of had my eye on. I don't know a lot about it, but it looked so weird. I felt like it was worth putting on my radar. You have played it. Please tell us about Luckslinger.
Yeah, let's switch it back around to the positive side. I was so aggro just then. I don't normally do that, and I really wanted to love that game. But anyways, Luckslinger is an indie 2D side-scrolling shooter game where you're a cowboy. And I think you played a game that was somewhat similar a while ago. I forgot what it was. A cowboy shooter game, didn't you? That was 2D?
Yeah, I did. There was yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can see it in my head. Do not remember what it's called, but yes, there was a 2D roguelike where you were a cowboy shooting, and it was like pixel-based.
Right, and I was about to play it, and then I bought this instead. No, I'd forgotten about that one until I picked this up. Luckslinger is 2D, simple pixel graphics. You're a cowboy. You have a pet duck that flies around and is rests on your shoulder sometimes. It's a comedic game. It's an absurd, weird game. It's funny we mentioned David Lynch. It's kind of got some Lynchian moments in it. And it's got amazing music, jazzy hip-hop beats. And at some point in the game, you actually collect records. So I guess it doesn't take place in the past, but it looks like it does, right? It's like old school cowboys and tumbleweed, and you're in the middle of nowhere. But also there's records. So it might be modern day mixed with old-timey cowboy stuff. And what you do is you're a cowboy 2D side-scrolling, and you go from left to right, and you're shooting bad guys, and there's a story, and the main mechanic that's very interesting, besides obviously shooting at other cowboys with your pistola, is you can collect the luck, and either from bad guys or just randomly killing things in the world. And when you collect luck, you have like a little luck meter, and you can hit L trigger on the PlayStation to use some of the luck. Now, how does luck help you? Obviously, part of Luckslinger. A bunch of things can happen. It's really cool. So say someone shoots at you, right? And their little bullets come flying at you. You hit the luck button, and the bullet might fly away, right? Like it doesn't hit you.
It just kind of veers off.
It veers off, and it looks really cool when it veers off. And then the other thing is, this is a great one. I use this all the time. Say you're jumping, and the jump is really, really far, and you're not sure if you're going to make it, kind of thing, in a 2D platformy type, way. You can hit the luck button in the mid jump, and all of a sudden, like a little gopher or something will appear, and you can like land on it and like jump off of it, so you don't like fall into the pit. That's
interesting. So like random things in the whole environment will kind of like luckily happen to kind of make your fail into a win.
Yeah, like the platform, like a little platform will basically pop up. In this scenario, it was a little mole, and he was just
Okay.
there. And then like other bad luck stuff will happen. And so if you don't have like your luck saved up, like bad shit will just happen. Like I was walking by like a water tower and it fell and it hit me, and I was like, oh shit, and I had no luck. Another good example is I had zero luck, and I didn't know that I needed luck for this, but you would have thought I would have. And I found a guy who wanted to play Russian roulette.
Ooh.
And I
You
went,
you should have known you needed luck for that.
I know what's wrong with me.
That was silly.
I thought it was like based on some other random thing. So I decided to try it. And I killed myself. I shot myself in the head and died there. There's also like slow motion deaths. So like when you kill other bad guys or when you get killed, sometimes it does like slow motion stuff. So that's always fun. I love that in 2D games. And it's just got humor in it. It's like a lot of fun humor. You like get to a town and like you can collect records, or you can like talk to the townsfolk, and they got their whole thing going on. And I think there's a huge cop presence in my apartment building.
It seems like it. Someone's getting busted.
It's me. It's because they heard my Disco Elysium review.
They're like, "Who's this son of a bitch shit talking
That
Disco
son of a
Elysium?
bitch.
Send patrol cars down there."
We worked 6 months on that control port for the PS5. How dare he? Well, patch it, motherfuckers, because it's broken. Somehow I got back to Disco Elysium in my review. I love this game. It's really funny. It's really weird. It's a kind of, simple game where you're shooting bad guys with your gun, you're jumping, you're platforming. Your pet duck is hilarious, by the way. Your pet duck will like go bother the bad guys, like start pecking at them. Or you have a knife in this game, and when you throw it, it doesn't like regenerate, so the duck has to go pick it up for you. There's so much good humor and really good music. Like they sold the soundtrack, I think, or they have the soundtrack separately. It's like lo-fi hip-hop beats, right? I listen to that on YouTube all the time. You just type in lo-fi hip-hop.
Chill beats to study to or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking great, man. And collecting records, you can like listen to the records on a jukebox in like a saloon, that you collect. Really fun. I have one problem with it, and it's a slight problem, but when I found my first boss, I feel like he was way too hard. And isn't that frustrating?
Yes. Frustrating bosses can very quickly ruin an otherwise good experience.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any leveling in that sense. I'm better at the levels now, and I know how to play them better, so I'll probably go back and obviously try the boss again. But it was like he had so much health. You know what I mean?
Did you just need like way more luck than you had?
I guess I need more luck. Yeah, I don't know what would have happened. And actually,
maybe that's safe falls out of the sky and cracks him on the head or something.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm gonna go try to get more luck, because if I would have had more luck, yeah, I wouldn't have had to get through all of his life points, and I had like no luck, so I was just basically trying to shoot him. And by the way, he had luck. By the way, the boss had luck. So near the end, I had him down to like 6 health bars, and I shoot at him, and his luck he turns on, and all my bullets go flying.
Oh man. Okay, so there you go. So clearly, I mean, it's kind of a giveaway in the title, Luckslinger. So maybe there's like a luck mechanic with this boss that maybe you need to leverage a little bit more, perhaps.
Yeah. I think this Disco Elysium police are after me again.
They are looking for your ass, Carlos.
Really?
Where is this guy?
They can't find me, though. That's the thing. I'm in a secret bunker on the top floor of a regular apartment building. That's my review. I think everybody should go check out Luckslinger. It's really cheap.
Where are you playing it right now?
PS5. It's on the PS4 store. It's like $10, I think, on sale right now or something.
Would this work well on the Switch? I was looking at it.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
So good for a Switch. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be great on the Switch. It's super 2D, super old school graphics, really funny, awesome music. It's a treat. I just have to get more luck.
All right. Luckslinger, that sounds like a win. And like I said, that was one I had my eye on. You have now confirmed that I was correct to keep my eye on it, and I will probably pop for it as soon as we get off of this show. One more game before we wrap up. It's a big game, but we're not going to spend all that much time on it. People have been asking when I was going to start talking about Monster Hunter Rise. Just came out for the Switch. Everybody knows, if you read Game Critics or if you've listened to this podcast for a long time, I'm a Monster Hunter dude from a long time ago. Not from the very start, but I've played all the Monster Hunter games, and I've spent a lot of time with the series. Like a lot time with the series. Played them all, finished them all. Even the ones on the PSP where you had to like do a little claw motion with your finger. Played everything, and I love the series. Some of them I like more than others, but I'm definitely like a Monster Hunter guy. It's kind of my thing in a lot of ways. We've got like posters and figures and T-shirts and all that, mugs, all that kind of shit in my house. We definitely are a Monster Hunter house. My wife loves Monster Hunter as well, and playing with her is like one of the joys of my existence. Both of my kids also dip into Monster Hunter, not as much as we do, but they do play, so that's also good times. Monster Hunter Rise is the newest game from Capcom in this storied franchise, and it is a revelation in many ways. Now, Monster Hunter, if you don't know, it is third person real time action. It's all about taking a hunter, selecting from one of a variety of different weapons. I think there's probably like 12 different weapons, maybe 16 different weapons. I've lost count at this point. But there's all sorts of different things: giant swords, bows and arrows, guns, dual blades, sword and shield, lance, all sorts of stuff. Like there's a weapon out there for everybody, right? And you can play solo, or you can play in a group, and you go into the story mode and just fight these really big monsters. It's basically kind of a boss rush sort of a game, where the focus of each level is just fighting like one huge monster or another, and they all come in different flavors, right? Some are really big and chunky, some are small and snake-like, some can fly, some do fire, some do ice. Like there's a whole like this really wide variety of monsters, and you just have to go in there, learn their tells, learn their moves, learn how to dodge them. Every time you beat a monster, you kill them or trap them, but either way you get some pieces from that monster, and you use those pieces to create armor and weapons that make you stronger, and therefore you are more equipped to take on the next monster. It's a pretty good loop, pretty fun. It's not for everybody because it's a pretty difficult game, and there's a lot of learning involved, on top of the fact that historically, Capcom is pretty ass about tutorials and about explaining the game. Like, it's one of those experiences where if you want to get the most out of it, you're gonna have to find a wiki. You're gonna have to find a
Yeah.
YouTube video. You're gonna have to find somebody who knows the game inside and out, and then they're gonna have to answer a bunch of your questions. Capcom is terrible at explaining this game, which has always been really frustrating for me. But Rise is actually a really good point of entry for anybody. So, full disclosure, if you've played Monster Hunter before and you didn't like it, nothing has changed about that. Like, this is not going to change your mind, right? I mean, this is basically the same formula. You're going to see a lot of the same monsters, same loop. But if you want more of that, this is quite possibly the best one that's ever been. For the reason being that they have streamlined the fuck out of this game. Like a lot of really drastic changes, a lot of many micro changes, many medium-sized changes. Like, they really took the time to examine the Monster Hunter formula, and they took a look at it and said, you know, what is worth keeping and what is not worth keeping, and they have jettisoned so much cruft. Like, I was shocked, like really shocked at a lot of the choices.
Would you say they iterated?
They mega iterated, like
iterated.
hardcore, like legitimately, not just like a tweak here, tweak there, but they really looked at the fundamental identity of the game, and they're like, back in the day, Monster Hunter, right? Hunting was a big part of the concept. So you would like look for tracks, you would, you know, craft some things. Like, a lot of the game was like preparing to go on the hunt. Like, you'd collect the items you would need to get your sharpening stone for your sword, and you'd have to make some bullets, and you'd have to collect some things to make some food, make sure you packed your bag. Like that whole thing was like part of the experience, right? And the game has iterated so many times over the years. Capcom has now looked at it and said, okay, so what is the fun of Monster Hunter? The fun is in fighting the monsters. It is Monster Hunter, fighting the monsters. That's what everybody likes. That's the key thing. And so they have drastically cut back on all of the supporting stuff. To a longtime player like me, shocking, very shocking that they would get rid of some stuff. I'll give you an example. For example, you go to like a desert location. In every single Monster Hunter game, I think up until now, it's hot in the desert, and your hunter is wearing a bunch of armor, so you would have to bring a cool drink, literally an item called cool drink, to bring with you, so that when you're in the desert, you drink your cool drink, and it cools you down for like 5 minutes. If you run out of cool drinks, your hunter gets really, really hot, they lose stamina, you lose fighting effectiveness, and then the monster probably wails on you because you did not prepare effectively for the environment. That is a thing that has been in Monster Hunter forever, like since the beginning. That is gone. Totally gone. It may not seem like a big thing to a lot of people, but to old timers like me, it was really surprising to see that stuff was gone. And it's just been replaced with nothing. You just go to the desert and you're just there. It's fine. You don't get too hot. You don't get tired. You just fucking fight in the desert. Now, at first, I was like, that's bullshit. But I calmed down for like 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, is it really worth keeping? And honestly, no, it's not. Like, it's not. It's just an extra step that you go through, another kind of a bullshit busy work step to do. And now that I've been playing the game with changes like that, like, I don't really miss it, right? Like, it was flavor. It was kind of fun to do something like that. It was neat that Capcom tried to make these little concessions to the real world, but it didn't matter, right? Another example is paintballs. Paintballs were a thing. You had to collect the items from the wilderness, collect like a paint berry and get an empty shell and like combine the things in your crafting back at your hut, back home. You make a little paintball. You find a monster you're fighting. The first fucking thing you always had to do was hit him with a paintball because that way it would make him show up on your map. If you did not paintball the monster and he left, you had no fucking idea where that monster went. He could be anywhere on the map and you just like were an asshole looking around trying to find the monster. Paintballs do not exist anymore. And again, that's one of those legacy things where I'm like, oh my god, how can you possibly get rid of paintballs? Well, pretty fucking easy to get rid of paintballs. You just have to like get used to the idea that they don't exist anymore.
Wait, does the monster still show up though?
Yeah, they just show up on the map 24/7.
Yeah, that's great. This all sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that where if you knew Monster Hunter for all these years, you're used to the legacy stuff. You're used to the hoops to jump through. You just kind of accept it. But if you can get past the idea that things are changing for the better, it's a much better experience. It's way more streamlined. There's like 1,000 little choices like that where they just said, do we really need this thing? Does it really add value? If the answer is no, we axe it. And they got rid of so much stuff. It's like they get you into the fights as quickly as possible. Tons of little decisions that kind of speed things up to get you into the fight. When you're in the fight, they've added all sorts of like many different options. You have a dog now. They never had dogs before in Monster Hunter. And the whole focus of the dog is to make you run fucking faster so that you can get to the monster faster. No more fucking walking around slow looking for the monster. You know where the monster is. And the dog takes off like a fucking rocket. And he takes you straight to where the monster is. Saves your fucking time, right? There's also these things called wire bugs, which are kind of complicated at first. But once you figure them out, they give you all sorts of different mobility options. They let you dodge and move and go vertical.
Those look
tons
really
of options.
Cool, by the way.
Oh, it's like once you know how to use them, they're fucking awesome. I love wire bugs.
Yeah, because you said, and again, I haven't played it yet, but like the idea and what I saw in the videos is that you can move and maneuver around monsters in all new ways, which again, for someone who loves action RPGs like me, like that seems like really a cool addition.
Oh my god!
Quick, can I ask one more question though about going back to the survivability for survivability's sake? I'm a fan of like getting rid of cool drink. I didn't know that you would be, so I'm kind of surprised to hear that you're down with that, which is good because I feel like you're like a stickler for old school Monster Hunter. But I'm glad that you're like yes-anding it because I agree with both those changes. That those both sound great. And having a mount to go to the monsters faster is something I like. Yeah. I know that we didn't see eye to eye on Monster Hunter World, but I did have a fun time with that game. And I feel like they did speed up a lot of things and just like got me, it was more of an action RPG kind of style.
Sure.
But the question I had is the only question I need to ask for this whole review.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Fuck. And for those listening at home who don't know what I was going to ask, do you have to sharpen your sword? And the answer is yes.
That is a vital part. But I will tell you, they've actually even made choices to that.
Okay, I'm listening.
The changes to this there are skills that let you speed it up. There are also other skills that you can do that like double speed it up. And then they also give you a permanent whetstone. So you never have to collect the whetstone. You're never out of a whetstone. But you do have to sharpen your weapon. Because that is kind of part of the strategy is how sharp is your weapon? How tough is a monster's armor? How many hits can you get off before you need to recoup? I don't know if that's ever going to go away. I'm fine with like sharpening still being there. But yeah, there's always a permanent whetstone. You can always do it at any point, and it's faster. You can make it even go even faster if you want to go faster. It's it's there. It's a thing that's pretty key to the Monster Hunter experience. But anyway, so like a lot of stuff like that, where they have just really, it's the same game, and yet it is not the same game because they have really made it way more fast, friendly, approachable. There's less stuff to maintain. There's less downtime. Really streamlined. So if you were an old school player that really loves the getting into like all of like the farming and the item crafting and the searching for materials and the preparation, I mean, all of that is drastically reduced. And if you like that part, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's not there. But I gotta be honest with you, like even me, old school, longtime Monster Hunter player who was a diehard fan of the series, once I got past that initial surprise that all these things that used to be there are no longer there, I realized it's okay that they're not there. Like, it's a better experience. They get to the fun faster. It's easier to get new players in, although it's still not that easy, but easier. And I think they just made a lot of really fucking smart decisions, and it's super playable. It's great on the Switch. The online is really strong. I had some problems playing locally, I will say. Locally did not work very well with me because my wife, son, and I were in the same room. We kept getting dropped players. That was not fun. But the online is rock solid. I've never had a problem with online. It's quick. It's good. And I will say also, for those people who may want to try Monster Hunter but don't want a lifetime commitment, it comes with the shortest story single-player campaign that's ever been in a Monster Hunter. I think I finished it in 35 hours.
Whoa.
Which is like the blink of an eye for Monster Hunter, which, traditionally is several hundred hours long. You can finish that story campaign, roll credits in like 35 hours, and walk away. You've had a really good experience. You can call it good. You can feel good about yourself, and that's fine. Of course, there's an ocean of content left if you want to get into it, but I appreciate that they make it quick to get in and out, and if you just like a taste, you get a taste.
Are they
and then you move on.
Are they doing that because they are kind of betting on the online part of it, you think?
I mean, I think they want to accommodate all people, right? Because there's some people who don't want to do online, some people who never want to play with other people, which I will say I've had really great experiences online. But some people just like to get in and finish a game. Some people just really like to roll credits. I mean, I'm one of those people. I like to roll credits. And I appreciate that they didn't put it behind 200 hours, right? Some people don't have that kind of time. Yeah. Maybe you only kind of like the game and don't really want to spend your life playing it. And I respect that they let you finish it, but tons and tons and tons and tons of optional stuff after you roll credits. Like it's not even like the game is even over. It's just a place where the bus stops. And if you want to get off, you can get off. If you want to keep riding, that bus is going to keep on going for like a real long time afterwards.
Interesting. I think, I know that your first answer, if I asked you, Brad, should I play this, would be no, because you know that I generally don't like a lot of things about Monster Hunter. But I did like Monster Hunter World. And the things you're saying make me feel like I could probably get in and get a permanent whetstone and enjoy some of the things that they fix. And I love those wire bugs, at least how they look. And the fact that you can ride on monsters, which is a new thing.
Yeah, that's a whole new thing.
So
too,
I don't know. I'm guessing you're going to still tell me not to play it, but I might.
I mean, take a look at it. If you're tempted, go for it. My advice would be no, because I think it's still the same core Monster Hunter that I think that maybe you like the idea of, but maybe you don't actually like the reality of. But it's good. It's the best it's ever been. I think that's real strong candidate for best ever.
Okay.
And they're only going to be supporting it for the next year. I mean, they're going to have new DLC coming this month, and they're going to be expanding some more monsters, some more quests. I mean, it's a great thing. I'm already like probably 45 hours into it right now, and we're playing a little bit every day. It's a great thing to dip in and dip out. And I love, honestly, just playing with other people. This is one of the few online experiences where I really like jumping in with others. I play with a lot of players from Japan, where we do like little emotes to each other, and they help each other out. It's just really fun. Really great, good, bite-sized experience. Works great on the Switch. It's the best Monster Hunter for anybody who's ever wanted to play a Monster Hunter. With that said, you're still going to have to do some research and some homework. It's not super accessible, but it is the most accessible.
Yeah, but that's very Monster Hunter of it.
Yeah, very, very much so, for sure. Monster Hunter Rise on Switch. I think it's great. Full review coming at Game Critics, and I will be reporting on it again at some point in the future.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you will. High praise. And before we go, though, I had one more thing that was on the list that you skipped.
I did. What was it?
Just wanted to tell people quickly that I got back into Diablo 3.
Oh, Diablo 3. I forgot about that. My apologies, man. Yes.
Here's the real quick thing about it. We're talking about, Dungeons and Dragons type games, so let's talk about Diablo for a second. So I've been waiting for Diablo 4, like a lot of people. Love Diablo 3, played hundreds of hours of it. Quick side story, went back to my PlayStation 5, looked at my PS4 library version of Diablo 3, and it's locked. And this could be a tangent. I'll try to make it quickly. But in PlayStation, if you have bought a game on a different system, sometimes it's locked because you have to restore the license.
Really?
Yeah, it's real creepy. Again, there's a huge tangent. I won't go on it. I didn't get it unlocked. I didn't understand what I had to do because my old PS4 Pro's in the closet, and I think I had to boot it up or something. I don't know. I didn't want to do any of that business. I also had not bought the full, like complete super deluxe version of Diablo 3. So I used this as an excuse to just buy it again. So I am that crazy person who bought it again. But the reason I bought it again was because I saw something on PlayStation 5 on the homepage. It says, Season 23 of Diablo is here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been on, like, in the distance, not understanding that seasons were happening. Did you have any idea that
Oh.
was happening?
Oh yeah, dude, that's been going on for a while. That's been the way that they've been kind of turning it into like a game as a service, even though it
Right.
originally wasn't that. Yeah,
I
so
literally had no idea. It's like I was living under a rock, a real, true rock. So I see that and I go, oh, that game is my addiction. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a very easy, hey, kid, come over here. Do you want some candy? That's a bad example.
would you say that Diablo 3 is an RPG?
Oh, nice. Yes, of course I would.
Oh, that's interesting because I would say that it's not.
It's an action RPG. You're just saying it's not just to play devil's advocate. I know because I heard your lie in your voice just now. I can hear Brad's lies.
I
Anyways,
think Diablo 3 is great. I picked it up on PS5 and I put some time into it, and I think it's great.
so it's so addictive though. There's some sort of thing that's in that is drugs. Okay, there's drugs in Diablo 3. Let's call that the title. Well, no, we should talk about another game like Disco Elysium title. But anyways, Diablo 3 is amazing. I went back to it, and here's the fun, quick fact. If you are like me, you love Diablo 3, maybe you're already been playing the seasons. But if you're like me and you didn't even know they existed, until Diablo 4 comes out, it is that drug that you want, the kind of just fun addictiveness of Diablo. And what they do is they basically have these seasons, and you can make a season character. So when you make each season, you might already know this, Brad, I'm not sure, but you start over. So you have a brand new character, level 1. Nothing with him. He's got no accoutrement, right?
Yes.
And what they do is they unlock, if you pick a seasonal character and you make one as a seasonal character, that's a difference. You don't have to go through the campaign. You just go right to adventure mode. And in adventure mode, everything's open and you're unlocked. And you just have to go to wherever you want and level up. And it's fucking fun because it's like, oh my goodness, I can do any landmass, anywhere I can handle, with my level, I'll do. And then I can get all those loot drops. And then you beat bounties, and in the season, you're basically following along a little chart, and you got to check off, like, I got 5 bounties in Act 1 or something. And you do all those, and you supposedly have to get through all of that before the season's over, and then you get prizes, essentially. It's not about the prizes for me. Yeah, if I finish the season, that's cool. It's just another, like you said in the beginning, another reason to play that game. And it is so addictive. I literally just pick it up for 5 minutes, and that's 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I've never played Diablo 3 all the way through. I think we mentioned on the show earlier. I played it when it first came out, and it was a wreck, and it was terrible shape when it first came out. A lot of problems, and so I bounced. But it's been a while since then. It's in much better shape now. I played a bit a while ago, and I thought it was really fun. I plan to come back to it. Just to do the basic campaign. I mean, I don't have enough time to get into seasons and shit like that. But
I know, but hold on real quick to that point. You said not enough time to get in the seasons. It's actually quicker to get in and out to do the season.
Oh, right. But you remember, I'm one of the guys that likes to roll credits, though, right? So a season thing is just a repeated. I need a reason
you're
to keep
right,
playing, whereas I'd rather.
Yeah, there's lore bits that happen in adventure mode, and if you don't already know them, you'll be like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I like to roll. So that's the difference for me. But I think it's a great idea. Kind of puts it on the same kind of path as like Fortnite or something, where the whole thing resets every season. You kind of work your way up the skill tree. I think I first came into this idea with what's that other Path of what's the other
Path of Exile?
Path of Exile. I think that was where I first saw the season idea. And then, I don't know who stole it from who or who came up with it first, but yeah, it's kind of all the rage in these action RPGs.
And we talked about that game on this podcast, and I had such a problem with that playability of that game.
Yeah.
That I had to bounce. But like Diablo, I know, there's problems I have with it. But Diablo 3 is a perfect example of, and what I was saying earlier, the style of game when you power up, you feel, it's an empowerment thing. And so even to the fact of which is very unique, it's almost Monster Hunter-ish. And tell me if I'm wrong, but as you level in Diablo, your maneuverability gets better, which is weird. It's almost like they strip you of all ability to even move if you remember this, in the very, very base version of a character in Diablo, when you attack, you can't move, which
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Path of
yeah.
Exile does, and I hated. And maybe if like I leveled up more, then I would have had this. But like after a while, you get level, like your ability to attack is more of a sweeping motion, and then you can roll. And there's all these different things that like make you move fast. So it's an interesting game, but holy shit, it's drugs. Diablo 3 is drugs, and I'm in. I'm fully back in now.
Speaking of which, I may be wrong about this, but I thought I saw somebody saying that Diablo 2 was finally getting a console port.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
true
getting
information?
remastered, and it looks beautiful, and I can't wait for it, and I will buy it.
That is exciting news. I really liked the first Diablo, and I never played Diablo 2, even though everybody said that was the one to play. I just did not have a
I
PC at
think I
that time.
did. I don't know if I roll credits, but it's worth. It's like Demon Souls. It's like that amazing of an upgrade, graphics wise.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I heard. Everybody said that was the shit, and I never got into it. So I definitely would be interested in dipping into that when it comes to PS5 or the
Well, we'll
Xbox
talk about it for
family of
sure.
consoles,
Yeah.
whatever. For sure, for sure. All right, any last bits, or are we good to
Oh,
go?
that's it. I get that off my chest. Diablo 3, drugs.
All right, there we go. All right, folks, thank you very much. That is it for the show today. But before we go, as you know, we love to get questions and comments. Please hit us up, sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter as a show, @sovideogames. But you can reach us individually. Carlos, where can people find you this week?
YouTube.com/a lot of things. A lot of videos and a lot of things.
Excellent, excellent. As for me, same as usual, Instagram and Twitter, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. And that's going to do it for episode 227. Thank you once again for joining us here on the So Video Games podcast. And we'll see you next Friday. But before you go, don't forget, we got Godzilla vs. Kong spoilers coming
Oh,
up in
yeah.
1 second. Almost
Yeah.
forgot, but it's coming up. But we're going to wrap the show first. So if you don't want to be spoiled, this is the end of the show. You can stop right here. Don't miss anything. If you want those spoilers, hang on for one more minute. But in the meantime, this is Bye from Brad.
And this is Bah Humbug. Fix your controls, Disco Elysium. That right analog stick and go suck it. I kind of thought of that one.
All right, here is a spoiler warning for Godzilla vs. Kong. We're going to spoil basically everything about this crappy movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled, please stop listening now. Otherwise, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to spoil everything. I hated this movie, Carlos. Did you like? You didn't like this movie either.
No, I was hate watching it while on my phone. I literally I never like pick up my phone like while I'm watching a movie that I'm really into, and I was like, no, fuck this thing. Like, yes, it's a spectacle. If you went and saw it, or if you can like I don't know, rent out a whole theater for yourself. I guess people are doing that, or like later on when it's more safe to go back out into theaters, you go watch it and see it in a big screen. I guess that's a thing, like people see movies just for that. And I'm very lucky, and we're lucky that it was on HBO and you just watch it in the comfort of your home. And I really basically just watched it because it's a brand new film and it's a 4K thing, a UHD, and like, let me see the spectacle. I didn't expect it to be good. So even though my expectations were low, I still didn't like this. Like,
Yes, it's
my,
painful.
it's painful. And my real quick synopsis before I even get into any of it really is that it's just they had so much they could have done with this. Like the actors, that one guy from Atlanta's in it too, and the girl from Stranger Things, and there's just so many people that I like, and I think there's like a missed opportunity here, like an actual story maybe, or like like some depth or advancement in character or anything you do in movies could have been in this, but it just felt like a cookie cutter. Let's look at the graphics and also like really not make sense, like a huge portions, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like, wait, but shouldn't they be scared, or why are they just okay with that, or what are they doing? Like a lot of those moments.
And I think a lot of it really stems from the fact that they're trying to create like this like monster verse where it's like this interconnected universe of monsters fighting each other. And I think that they're getting blinded by the fact that they want an MCU of their own, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you can't do that until the movies are good. Like people forget the MCU didn't just exist. They had like 3 or 4 or 5 movies that were all really good on their own before they had a cinematic universe. And that's really what's missing, right? So like these movies did not start out connected. Like the first Godzilla came out in 2014, the reboot Godzilla, of course, not the first one. Some people seem mixed on it, and I'm really confused by that because I've watched it many times. I think it's a great film. The 2014 Godzilla, I think, is excellent.
Is that with Matthew
It's
Broderick?
No, that's the one that was from before that. That was like in the 90s or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
That was a bad one. The one in 2014 really shows Godzilla's scope. It treats him as like this supernatural force of nature. Like it really shows his impact on the city. It comes in on a couple people as they kind of survive the onslaught of Godzilla. It's a really great film. Skull Island, Kong Skull Island came out after that. An amazing film. That is a really good film. King Kong looks amazing in that. It's got some great fight scenes, but also it's got some great story. Talks about like this group of soldiers that go there and they kind of just like have this real chip on their shoulder about taking him down, and there's people on the whatever. Like it's a great movie on its own. Both those two movies I think are great. That's why I was so excited. Unfortunately, they came in with Godzilla King of Monsters and just fucked the whole thing up because they wanted to make it like a cinematic universe, and in doing so, my big problem with this is they have, number one, come up with a bunch of backstory that is like the most far-fetched, like ridiculous horse shit that just doesn't even make sense. And on top of that, they just don't put any effort into the script.
Or explain anything. Or explain anything.
Yeah. It's like punching monsters and having buildings fall down is awesome, but like that doesn't excuse the fact that you need to do a good job on the rest of the movie. And in fact, Mike Rougeau, who is an online games guy and also a movie critic, put out a review of this game, Godzilla vs. Kong, of this movie, and he said basically the same thing. Like it's spectacle, but you need to have something besides spectacle. Spectacle doesn't excuse a stupid script. And he got torn apart on the internet, which I think was not.
Really?
Yeah, he got tons of hate. A lot of people really want to stand up for this movie and say you shouldn't think too hard about it because it's about Godzilla and King Kong. Yeah, it is, but it doesn't have to be stupid. And I'll give you some examples, right? So in recreating the origins of these monsters and trying to create this monsterverse, they have rewritten like the origins. And instead of Godzilla being the result of radioactive tests underground, and instead of King Kong being just like a prehistoric leftover, like they kind of make up all this fucking horseshit about the Earth being this like magical battleground for like apex predators, and they're the true gods of Earth, and they have all this history that we don't know about, and we're like the race that comes later, and there can only be one apex monster and he controls all the other one, and it throws away like all of the common sense origin, which really isn't like, who cares about the origin anyway, right? Like I don't think the exciting part about Godzilla is where he comes from. I think it's about what you do and what he fights, and it should just make sense, right? But in this game, I keep saying it's a game. It's not a game. Knock it off, Brad. Yeah. In this fucking movie, it shows that King Kong's origin is that he comes from a race of intelligent super apes which lived in the core of the Earth, who have traditionally been the enemies of Godzilla, and he finds the throne room of the King Kong people, and on the throne room they have rechargeable radioactive axes which are made from the pieces of Godzilla. And I'm like, what is even happening here?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Just listen to that sentence. It sounds crazy.
It's fucking crazy and stupid and insane. And it's like a really big deal for them to get to the center of the Earth. But at a later point in the movie, Godzilla somehow like ESP senses that King Kong is in the center of the Earth. He shoots his laser to the core of the Earth, and then King Kong just like climbs up.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm sorry, he climbed up through the entire crust of the Earth, really? And it took him like a minute?
And before, like, remember, for them to get there, it was a big deal. They had to go through this
it was impossible. Yeah, space-time, vortex, anomaly, whatever. And like, there's so many fucking stupid things in this movie. Like, the whole point of going to the center of the Earth was to find this special energy that they needed. And they find the energy, and this girl like takes a picture of it, and she uploads the picture, and then all of a sudden they have the energy. I'm like, wow, that's not really how energy works.
That is how energy. That's actually, I know, that's actually how energy works.
Oh my god!
By the way, we have to stop in there for a minute because I do again. Yeah, I didn't know that they were going to kind of create this whole backstory, but I didn't need to know because I was just watching a movie, right? And as I'm watching
unnecessary,
right? Yeah, but as I'm watching a regular movie, it was me just talking to myself, just watching it alone. When they introduced Hollow Earth, because I was like, wait, did someone not tell me that Hollow Earth is in this movie? Like, Hollow Earth. Are we talking about the same the Hollow Earth, right? That's in this movie. So I was just still baffled that was even in it. And then here's the fucking kicker, is they get to Hollow Earth. Humans, for the first time. Humans get to Hollow Earth for the first time. No facial reactions. If you look at all the people in the spaceship, they're like, it's okay place.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, neat.
There's trees.
The little girl who's the best actress in this whole movie, and she was actually giving like good, performances through the whole movie. She doesn't say anything either. She's not crying, doing
Yes.
a little. The girl, the woman who's like taking care of her or whatever, she just like blindly like looking out, going like, "Huh." Like literally no reaction. So they introduce a fantastical idea of the Hollow Earth. B, when they get there, nothing happens. Like it's not a big deal. And then C, to your point, they also add a bunch of history where there's like
Oh god.
axes with electricity from Godzilla.
So fucking stupid. And so apparently the existence of Mechagodzilla in this movie was spoiled. I actually wasn't spoiled on it. I didn't realize that he was even in the movie. I got spoiled on it the day the movie came out because some asshole jumped on Twitter and gave like a full movie synopsis in one tweet, which I just happened to see.
Oh,
I was very
nice.
upset about that. But like the Mechagodzilla thing was fucking stupid. I mean, he needs the energy that's in the core of the earth, but you've never been to the core of the earth, so how do you know that there's energy there? And even if there is energy, how do you know it's the right energy? And how do you get the energy when all she did was upload a GIF of the energy? It's not the actual
It's a
energy.
gift. That's hilarious.
I mean, seriously. And then like they have Mechagodzilla and they try to tie it into their monsterverse, right? So Mechagodzilla is actually controlled by the skull of Ghidra, who was killed at the end of King of Monsters, because his DNA is some kind of a supercomputer, and they figured out that his skull has telepathy because he was a three-headed monster, and the other skulls were talking to each other. So they jack a guy into the Matrix, into the skull, but then the skull
takes
takes
over.
over.
Yeah, that's the big.
I'm like,
that's
what
the
is
kicker.
even happening in this fucking movie?
Because
it is, it's crazy.
from what you just said, doesn't make sense anyhow. And again, Joe Schmo who doesn't know or can't follow along, fast enough to get that that's what's happening with that skull. Because for me, I'm just like, oh, there's a skull in a room and there's a bunch of wires in it, and there's a person controlling that skull. I guess that's what's happening. And then all of a sudden, the skull takes over the guy and kills him. So now a spirit is fighting
It's like
spirit. It's spirit Mechzilla.
Oh my god! The problem I have, the underlying problem I have with these movies is like you're putting in a bunch of shit that doesn't need to be there, and the stuff that you're putting in is fucking nonsense. Mechagodzilla is cool. It could have just been, hey, we're tired of getting beat up by Godzilla. We want our own version. Simple answer. That's what they've always done in every fucking Mechagodzilla movie because he's been in the movies like 25 times. Why did you have to change the origin? Why did you think that a DNA telepathic skull with no skin on it connected up to wire was going to change the internet and take over? Like, I was like, what is even happening?
Yeah.
None of this stuff makes sense. It's like, and anybody who stands up for this movie and says, don't think too hard about it, I feel like is like, fuck off, okay? Because it's fine to have a monkey and a big dinosaur punching each other, but it doesn't have to be fucking stupid, and it doesn't have to talk down to the audience. And if you're going to play it for laughs, then play it for laughs. But that's not what's happening here. These guys are trying to create a legit new universe of interconnected movies, and it's fucking stupid. It is fucking stupid, and I'm the biggest fan of this shit. I love kaiju. I love monsters. I should be the number one fan, and I think this is trash.
Yeah, exactly. Coming from someone who likes the monster fights, that's a big thing. Not to go back to I Saw Black Clouds, but that is that kind of thing. Like pick a lane, right? And I think the people who say, "Oh, just have fun with it because it's two big things fighting each other," it hurts my brain. I think if you have like any brain, it's going to hurt it because basically it's like taking logic and throwing it out the window, but not throwing it far enough out the window. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're like, oh, but it's actually kind of realism, and here's a bunch of real things you need to focus on, or like here's some grounded characters, but then here's some non-characters, right? Here's a person who is not even the main guy there, scientist, whatever, he's flying the ship,
Yeah.
He felt like a video game character, an NPC or something. He just wasn't a real person. Like I didn't believe in anything that he was doing. And then the little girl I did, and the girl that looked after her, kind of, they seemed like real characters. But even like the girl from Stranger Things, and then the guy from Atlanta, and then the other kid, he's in a really good movie, the Australian kid.
Yeah, I know the kid.
They're all great people, but they just don't work together, and they also don't work. Like they don't give them any room to breathe and become a character. They're just shifted off to China in a space pod. Again, this is why it doesn't work for the people saying like, just, have fun. You're not letting me have fun.
It's too many stupid shit happening, and it rips the immersion away from me. I can't enjoy the movie because all I'm seeing is plot holes and nonsense that does not need to be there. Like this is way too complicated, and none of it holds together, and I can't enjoy the movie when all I think about is how stupid it is and how ridiculous and asinine this script is. It's a terrible script. It's a terrible movie.
There's a script? I didn't know
I
there.
you
I
know
didn't know there was one.
it makes me really sad, dude, because I was excited for this. I will always be a fan of 2014 Godzilla. I will always be a fan of Kong Skull Island. Both of those are great films. I recommend them both. But Jesus H fucking Christ, every movie that's come after that is fucking terrible, and they are running these into the ground, and I am just really sad and depressed about
Well,
it.
you just. Well, I don't think, unfortunately, you'll get another one for a while, unless it's a different studio, maybe because.
This movie made a ton of money. It made a bunch of
Well,
money.
it can
It
make
did
money,
really well.
but there's a difference in like, will the next movie get greenlit based on other
I
stuff? I'm
mean,
not sure.
who knows? Who
I
knows?
will say this last thing though is the other thing that takes you out of it. It's just so ridiculous, and I know it happens in old school Godzilla movies, and I think you know what I'm going to say. But I guess in the old school ones we didn't care as much or whatever. But like again, if you're throwing realism next to fantastical, the realism is going to start popping into our heads. And what I'm talking about is destroying all of, and they're in China, right? Yeah, at the
I
end.
think they're Hong Kong. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hong Kong.
So just destroy all of Hong Kong. Okay. Countless of millions of people
I
died.
know. I was thinking the exact same thing,
And
dude.
now
It, like it did not matter. Nobody cared.
nobody cares in the old school way, right? Because I feel like you see it's a set, it's toys. But the more realistic you make it and you show people on the ground, and then you show these like the real city of Hong Kong, and then each time a gratuitous punch that doesn't even mean anything. Like the monster didn't even like get an advantage. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it wiped out 20,000 people. Like it's just the amount of destruction they did to supposed virtual people. It was weird to me.
It's interesting. It's interesting. That was one of the things I wondered about when we look at Mechagodzilla, because I was wondering, were they trying to like make the people behind Mechagodzilla totally immune to the blame for killing all those innocent humans, because they can say, oh well, the skull of
Oh
this
jeez.
psychic skull took over, so therefore we're not responsible for killing everybody in Hong Kong. I mean, it didn't matter anyway because the script didn't mean a goddamn thing regardless of which way you looked at it. But it seemed like these weird hoops to jump through for no reason, and none of the movie held together. And you can do better. You can do better. I could have written a better script than this. My 11-year-old could have written a better script than this. It was a disgusting, stupid, ridiculous script, and if people enjoyed it, great. But don't come at me saying you need to turn your brain off to enjoy it, because I think it's very possible to write a movie like this and not have it be fucking insipid garbage. So
No, to anybody who says that, yeah, like come at me all day, any day on any sort of platform, because I just think that if you have a brain, which just sounds derogatory or mean, whatever, but your brain tries to latch on to things. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's a brain. It's got like logic in it. You know, it should. It should has like emotion and that stuff. And so this movie just keeps flip flopping so much. You're like, oh, I guess I'll go with this weird idea that there's a hollow Earth. Oh, but then they don't care that they're even there. You know?
yeah.
And then
I
like,
mean,
yeah, it's just
yeah, suspension of disbelief is everything in these movies, right? And you can get that a number of ways. I mean, like in the old school, it was kind of a model. Nobody really cared because it was guys in rubber suits. So you're not thinking about the movie in that way, kind of like you alluded to earlier. But in a movie like this where they throw so much sci-fi stuff at the wall to see what sticks, you cannot suspend that disbelief because so much ridiculous stuff is happening. Like it's just one thing after another, and it's not funny. It's not meant to be goofy. It's
right.
just like
That's important.
gobbledygook that we're supposed to just not think too hard about. And I felt the whole thing was really insulting and really not fun. And I walked away from that movie being really, really disappointed with it.
Confusing
So
is another word that I thought of. Right? I
very,
was
very
like,
much
what's
so.
happening? Because if I'm saying what's happening, how am I supposed to suspend my disbelief, right? How am I supposed to be
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll just have fun with this? By the way, we could list many movies, you and I, that where we were like, oh, we're just along for the ride. But
Sure.
it didn't throw like 18 new premises and, the stuff that makes me feel like, I don't know what's happening. Anyways, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, you gotta just keep it simple. Keep it simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And this movie did not keep it simple, and I think that's where it fucking
This movie
fell
can
down.
KISS my
Oh.
ASS.
All right, that's enough ranting. This is a monster episode.
2
ending with
hours. 2
monsters.
hours, baby.
Yep,
Let's
2
do
hours.
it.
There we go. All right, folks. If you've listened this far, thank you so much. This is the true end of the episode. Nothing's coming after this.
True.
Feel free to
ending.
bounce, and thank you for your time and attention. We out.